Yes. How's everyone doing? Hope you guys are having a great weekend. We're back again. Another Sunday, another episode of Free Somali Minds, ladies and gents. And figured this time, why not? Since it's in the news already, like it is all too often, I find. Why not talk about the Israeli Palestinian conflict and how we should see it and how this began, and maybe throw our 2 cents in, since the whole world seems to talk about it. It's a tiny place on Earth. However, it occupies more than half the time of the UN. So I wanted to kind of go through some questions today and kind of understand. Um, I mean, I'm sure we're not going to cover all of it, and then I'm sure there's so many depths to this, and there's so many different angles to this issue. But I wanted us to at least take a jab at discussing it and see what we think, and how the main question I'm trying to answer is, how should we as Somalis look at this issue, right? How should we view this? How should we react to it? And how should we deal with this? Because it is coming up, and it is cyclical as far as I can tell, right? As long as I've been alive, this conflict has been going on, and I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, to be honest with you. Now, before any subject is broached or any subject is discussed, I think it's important to kind of understand at a very minimal the issue and how it pertains to what's going on. So I thought maybe we can watch a brief history of the conflict, and see if we can't kind of see all ways, and see if there's different ways of looking at it. There's different ways of um, discussing this. So before we go any further, I think we should at least have an idea of what it is that's going on. So I got this. Now, mind you, this video is 5 years old. In my humble opinion, nothing really has changed that much from 5 years ago. So let's take a look and see what we think, and I'll come back.
One of the biggest myths about the Israel-Palestine conflict is that it's been going on for centuries, all about ancient religious hatreds. In fact, while religion is involved, conflict's mostly about two groups of people who claim the same land, and it really only goes back about a century to the early 1900s. Around then, the region along the eastern Mediterranean we now call Israel-Palestine, been under Ottoman rule for centuries, was religiously diverse, including mostly Muslims and Christians, also a small number of Jews who lived generally in peace. It was changing in two important ways. First, more people in the region were developing a sense of being not just ethnic Arabs, but Palestinians, a distinct national identity. At the same time, not so far away in Europe, more Jews were joining a movement called Zionism, which said that Judaism was not just a religion, but a nationality, one that deserved a nation of its own. And after centuries of persecution, many believed a Jewish state was their only way of safety and saw their historic homeland in the Middle East as the best hope for establishing it. In the first decades of the 20th century, tens of thousands of European Jews moved there. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed.
All right. I wanted to take a little break at the 1 minute mark. Dalmar Sodawa Walalke, Fir'aun Sodawa Walalke, Intani Sodawayan Duni. I just wanted to kind of pause the video a little bit. Eliminate Salafi. Okay, eliminate Salafis. I'm guessing that's Riddy. Riddy, is that you?
Oh, yo, my bad. I need to change my name. How do I do that?
Eliminate Salafis. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter, man. But
Nice one.
So Fir'aun, Dalmar Sodawa, Riddy Sodawo. This is it's a 10-minute video. So many. So I think it's important the ins and outs, or at least at a very basic level. And because a lot of times they have their own perspective and their own little twist to the story. So at least I know a simple history of what has happened. And how could I? This is unbiased as far as I can tell. I mean, we can tell anyone is biased, but you know what I mean. Like, as far as I can tell, this is the least biased I can say. So, are you guys gonna ما تصدق ونعدي here?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
I'm
hey.
فهنو.
يفهمنا ها.
British and French empires carved up the Middle East, the British taking control of a region it called the British Mandate for Palestine. At first, the British allowed Jewish immigration, but as more Jews arrived, settling into farming communities, tension between Jews and Arabs grew. Both sides committed acts of violence, and by the 1930s, the British began limiting Jewish immigration. In response, Jewish militias formed to fight both the local Arabs and to resist British rule. Then came the Holocaust, leading many more Jews to flee Europe for British Palestine and galvanizing much of the world in support of a Jewish state. In 1947, as sectarian violence between Jews and Arabs there grew, the United Nations approved a plan to divide British Palestine into two separate states. One for Jews, Israel, and one for Arabs, Palestine. The city of Jerusalem, where Jews, Muslims, and Christians all have holy sites, was to become a special international zone. The plan was meant to give Jews a state, to establish Palestinian independence, and to end the sectarian violence that the British could no longer control. The Jews accepted the plan and they declared independence as Israel. But Arabs throughout the region saw the UN plan as just more European colonialism trying to steal their land. Many of the Arab states, who had just recently won independence themselves, declared war on Israel in an effort to establish a unified Arab Palestine where all of British Palestine had been. The new state of Israel won the war, but in the process, they pushed well past their borders under the UN plan, taking the western half of Jerusalem and much of the land that was to have been part of Palestine. They also expelled huge numbers of Palestinians from their homes, creating a massive refugee population whose descendants today number about 7 million. At the end of the war, Israel controlled all of the territory except for Gaza, which Egypt controlled, and the West Bank, named because it's west of the Jordan River, which Jordan controlled. This was the beginning of the decades-long Arab-Israeli conflict. During this period, many Jews in Arab-majority countries fled or were expelled, arriving in Israel. Then something happened that transformed the conflict. In 1967, Israel and the neighboring Arab states fought another war. When it ended, Israel had seized the Golan Heights from Syria, the West Bank from Jordan, and both Gaza and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. Israel was now occupying the Palestinian territories, including all of Jerusalem and its holy sites. This left Israel responsible for governing the Palestinians, a people it had fought for decades. In 1978, Israel and Egypt signed the US-brokered Camp David Accords. Shortly after that, Israel gave Sinai back to Egypt as part of the peace treaty. At the time, this was hugely controversial in the Arab world. Egyptian President Anwar Sadat was assassinated in part because of outrage against it. But it marked the beginning of the end of the wider Arab-Israeli conflict. Over the next few decades, the other Arab states gradually made peace with Israel, even if they never signed formal peace treaties. But Israel's military was still occupying the Palestinian territories of the West Bank and Gaza, and this was when the conflict became an Israeli-Palestinian struggle. The Palestinian Liberation Organization, which had formed in the 1960s to seek a Palestinian state, fought against Israel, including through acts of terrorism. Initially, the PLO claimed all of what had been British Palestine, meaning it wanted to end the state of Israel entirely. Fighting between Israel and the PLO went on for years, even including a 1982 Israeli invasion of Lebanon to kick the group out of Beirut.
The stillness of the ceasefire in southern Lebanon was shattered today by the sound of guns, bombs, and planes.
The PLO later said it would accept dividing the land between Israel and Palestine, but the conflict continued. As all of this was happening, something dramatic was changing in the Israel-occupied Palestinian territories. Israelis were moving in. These people are called settlers, and they made their homes in the West Bank and Gaza, whether Palestinians wanted them or not. Some moved for religious reasons, some because they want to claim the land for Israel, some just because housing is cheap, often subsidized by the Israeli government. Some settlements are cities with thousands of people, others are small communities deep into the West Bank.
If you've always felt a deep yearning for Jerusalem, now
is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not only to stand within its gates, but also to build the home of your dreams there.
Settlers are followed by soldiers to guard them, and the growing settlements force Palestinians off of their land and divide communities. Short term, they make the occupation much more painful for Palestinians. Long term, by dividing up Palestinian land, they make it much more difficult for the Palestinians to ever have an independent state. Today, there are several 100,000 settlers in occupied territory, even though the international community considers them illegal. By the late 1980s, Palestinian frustration exploded into the Intifada, which is the Arabic word for uprising. It began with mostly protests and boycotts, but soon became violent. Israel responded with heavy force. A couple hundred Israelis, over 1,000 Palestinians died in the First Intifada. Around the same time, a group of Palestinians in Gaza, who considered the PLO too secular, too compromise-minded, created Hamas, a violent extremist group dedicated to Israel's destruction. By the early 1990s, it's clear that Israelis and Palestinians have to make peace. The leaders from both sides signed the Oslo Accords. This is meant to be the big first step toward Israel maybe someday withdrawing from the Palestinian territories and allowing an independent Palestine. The Oslo Accords established the Palestinian Authority, allowing Palestinians a little bit of freedom to govern themselves in certain areas. Hardliners on both sides opposed the Oslo Accords. Members of Hamas launched suicide bombings to try to sabotage the process. The Israeli right protests peace talks with ralliers calling Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin a traitor and a Nazi. Not long after Rabin signs the second round of Oslo Accords, a far-right Israeli shoots him to death in Tel Aviv. This violence showed how extremists on both sides can use violence to derail peace, keep a permanent conflict going as they seek the other side's total destruction. That's a dynamic that's been around ever since. Negotiations meant to hammer out the final details on peace drag on for years, and a big Camp David summit in 2000 comes up empty. Palestinians come to believe peace isn't coming, rise up in a second intifada, this one much more violent than the first. By the time it wound down a few years later, about 1,000 Israelis and 3,200 Palestinians had died. The second intifada really changes the conflict. Israelis become much more skeptical that Palestinians will ever accept peace or that it's even worth trying. Israeli politics shift right, the country builds walls and checkpoints to control Palestinians' movements. They're not really trying to solve the conflict anymore, just to manage it. The Palestinians are left feeling like negotiating didn't work and violence didn't work, and that they're stuck under an ever-growing occupation with no future as a people. That year, Israel withdraws from Gaza. Hamas gains power, but splits from the Palestinian Authority in a short civil war, dividing Gaza from the West Bank. Israel puts Gaza under a suffocating blockade, and unemployment rises to 40%. This is the state of the conflict as we know it today. It's relatively new, and it's unbearable for Palestinians. In the West Bank, more and more settlements are smothering Palestinians, often respond with protests and sometimes with violence. The most just want normal lives. In Gaza, Hamas and other violent groups have periodic wars with Israel. The fighting overwhelmingly kills Palestinians, including lots of civilians. In Israel itself, most people have become apathetic. For the most part, the occupation keeps the conflict relatively removed from their daily lives, with moments of brief but horrible violence. There's little political will for peace. No one really knows where the conflict goes from here. Maybe a third intifada, maybe the Palestinian Authority collapses. But everyone agrees that things as they are now can't last much longer. Israel's occupation of the Palestinians is too unstable to last, and that unless something dramatic changes, whatever comes next will be much worse.
Hey, hey, so the little man, big up
Yeah.
to Kahamulu, so do really James, Fir'aun, Dalmar. I wanted to stop it there, and that last sentence kind of made shivers because it said, "Whatever happens next is gonna be much, much worse." Ayaluglia. Yeah.
Israel
So I
cannot.
I wanna open it up. Really, Kusodo, really, you wanna chime in here? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's two things to talk about, right? There's the one so basically 1948 onwards to modern day. So, and then the one historically. So I'm gonna talk about the modern day one. Clearly, when you see what happens, right, when the Jews get in there, the Palestinians didn't like them on their land. So, you know what I mean? They were beefing. So they went to war. So it was fair, right? And then Palestinians had the support of what? The Egyptians, the Syrians, and all the Arab world. You know, everyone
Right.
was supporting them. And
Mm-hmm.
they lost the war twice. And even went against, they even attacked them against their holy religious day, you know, the Yom Kippur. I think
Right.
that's why the Jews attacked them during Ramadan because of that day too. Because the Muslims didn't have
Right.
empathy for them during the Yom Kippur war, and then they lost. This is what happens. At the end of the day, man, these Arabs are just, they're not men, you know what I mean? They don't care. They just throw rocks and shit. They're not fighting for their quote unquote land. It doesn't belong to them. The Jews have no homeland. They were stateless people for 4,000 years, and they end up coming back to
Mm-hmm.
their original homeland. This is their religion.
Right.
Everything that you see on that land, the significance is from their religion.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. So this is one thing that we're going to explore today as well, which is this really a religious issue or is it a political issue? And I want us to kind of take our time and walk through this so we understand not just the conflict, but like in my agenda, my intent here is to really understand what the Somali position should be. To be very honest with you guys, is where the Somali position should be. But like at first, obviously, we have to kind of talk about the issues at hand. So, Dalmar, kusoo dhawo walaal, maxaa ka filaysaa adigu?
waa mahadsantahay saaxiib aad baa u mahadsantihiin asxaabta kulligiin taariikh ahaan markii la eego dadkan yuhuudda ah meesha way deganaan jireen
صح.
waa dad taariikhi ah
Dalmaro, aan kaa jirjeeda walaal, aan kaa jirjeeda 2 seconds.
Okay.
Hercules, is that you, brother?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, welcome to the stream, brother. I just wanted to make sure that was you. Cool shades, man. Dalmar, kusoco walaalo, kusoco walaalo.
mahadsantahay soo dhawow saaxiib harkali marka yuhuuddu dhulkan way deganaan jireen falastiintaasoo dhan bay deganaan jireen ilaa hata sacuudi carabiya maka madiina dhulkaasoo dhan bay deganaan jireen yuhuuddu marka waa la laayay waa la dilay madiina hadda waa laga qaatay kulligood halkaasaa la iskugu aruuriyey markii dambe isla meeshii la iskugu aruuriyey haddana waa la dilay way carareen way qaxeen yurub bay u qaxeen marka dadkanu meesha horta way deganaan jireen berigii dambe ee yurub lagu laayay yay bilaabeen inay yiraahdaan meeshan waana lagu laayay waddankeena aan ku laabano
inkastay tani waxaan u malaynaya intay kasii horeyso bal Dalmaro ii kaadi walaal aan kaa jeeda. Lucky, is that you, Lucky?
Yes, can you hear
Hey,
me?
welcome to the stream, Lucky. Nice to have you.
Hello.
Yeah. Dalmaro kusoco walaalo, kusoco.
marka yurubiyaanku marka waxay bilaabeen inay ku laabtaan ay yiraahdaan meeshan waana lagu laayay waana lagu xasuuqay aan laabano marka sidii bay ku laabteen meeshana dad baa sii degay
صح.
inkastoo weli ay sii deganaayeen haddana UN-tu markay fiirisay dadkan waa dad la soo xasuuqay inay yiraahdaan marka meelihii ay u badnaayeen in la yiraahdo halka ha joogaan in la yiraahdo oo loo kala qaybiyo oo laba laga dhigo marka waxa diiday carabtay ahaayeen dhul badan bay haysteen oo aad u ballaaran oo dhulka maanta ay haystaan 3 jibaarkiis 4 jibaarkiis yay haysteen laakiin nasiib darro way diideen dagaal 4 geesooday dhan walba ka soo qaadeen dagaalkii way ku jabeen haddana dagaal kale isku dayeen way ku jabeen marka runtii bahashani hadday siyaasad oo keliya ahaan lahayd way fududaan lahayd maxaa yeelay populationka meesha degan population badan ma aha yuhuudduna waa 3 milyan carabtuna waa 2 milyan iyaga dhanba way ku filan tahay dhulku
aad iyo aad
waxa isku sii daraya waa diintii weeyaan
okay
yuhuudkaana ilaahiisa wuxuu ku leeyahay meeshan adaa leh adaan ku siiyey cid
Adaan ku siiyey ku yidhi.
muslimkanna waxaa la yidhi adaa leh adaa meesha leh meeshan waa meeshii nebi maxamed uu ka duulay ya maxay aheeday adaa dadka ugu khayr badan kuwana adaa u khayr badan baa la leeyahay marka waxa dabka sii shidaya ee sii holcinaya ee isku diraya waa diintii
waa isku diraysaa
adduunka markaad eegto dhulka la isku haysto way badan yihiin laakiin dadku si nabad ah oo heshiis leh oo ixtiraam leh ku kala qaataan laakiin markii qof walbaba uu diin dhabarka ku wato uu leeyahay jannad galaysa uu leeyahay ilaahaygii baa saa yidhi bahashu waxay noqonaysaa xagjir iyo xagjir
waxaan dhamaanin bay noqonaysaa de waayo de waa wax soconaya weligeedba haddii laga hadlayo de ilaah iyo de wax dad ka sarreeya waa weligeed bay soconaysaa baad u leedahay adigu markaa
ilaa dadku ay fahmaan ay fadhiistaan ay yidhaahdaan okay xaqiiqdu waa maxay xaqiiqdu waxay tahay yahuuddu dhulkan way deganaan jireen way degan yihiin waa dad jira inay xaqooda loo ogolaado sidaasoo kale yahuudduna ay carabta ixtiraamto ay tiraahdo dadkani waa dad Palestiniina waa dad walaalaheena waddanka way leeyihiin ya xaq bay u leeyihiin ilaa labadooduba ay heshiiyaan ma ogiye hal macnaha halku taasuu ku jiraa laakiin markuu qof walbaba uu leeyahay ilaahaygii baa i siiyey kana leeyahay ilaahaygii baa i siiyey kana leeyahay anaa dadka ugu khayr badan ilaahay baa doortay kana leeyahay ilaahay baa i doortay dee meeshii waxaa weeyaan macangagnimaa taala marka anigu waxaan leeyahay diintaa dadka isku sii diraysa oo hubka sii shidinaysa
Okay, well, fikrad weeyaan. So I'm gonna give the chance to everyone. Marka maxaa ku daayay dib baan ugu soo noqon doonaa. Fircoon, ka waran walaal adiga sidee kula tahay?
Greetings, new
Greetings to you, brother.
Dalmar iyo Lilman iyo gidida wada salaamaya tuka Ahmedooba. Waxa horta waa topic fiican weeygan aad inoo soo qabatay oo de waa way nagu weerariyeen ba moogta.
Waa current affairs, waana ka hadalno weeyaan. We can't shy away from this, Fircoon. Miyaan ahayn walaalo?
Definitely. Waa ka hadalno waliba specifically inaan magaranaysaa sida aad sheegayso dhinaceena ka eegno. Marka hadda agreed on with lot of points ka Dalmar sheegay dhulkan de raga Yuhuudda ba marka unbiased hand loo eegayo historical side ba laga eego raggan 2000 years bay homeless ahaayeen oo de adduunka meelaha soo wareegaysanayeen markii dambena caqli bay isu yeelan oo dhulkoodii wax ma garanaysaa connectionadoodii Westminster iyo ragay la soo barteen prime minister inay ma garanaysaa through education koodii system koodii ay isku xidhnaayeen bay dhulkoodii ku soo ceshteen marka dhinac kasta markaan ka eegno horta inaga dadkeena Soomaaliga ma garanaysaa waxaan xagga emotional ku meednagu ka eeganayo qoryaasanayo waan iska daba yaacaynaa moogta laakiin the only thing aan ma garanaysaa hadda weekend maxay waan family-gayga u sheegay ku yiri only thing aan anigu sympathy maanad u hayn Palestine marka waxaan ku yiri anigu sympathy maalintan Palestine u heli doonaa waa maalinta North Africa carabtu ka baxayso ilaa mid
okay, that's interesting.
As long as the occupation of North Africa is going on, I cannot have a sympathy for Palestine. Marka wuxuu yiri adigu why are you comparing the two? Waxaan ku yiri just because of one occupation has been going on for 700 years and one's been going on for 70 years for something. Waxa weeyaan waa hal zero ba u dhaxeeya. Laakiin taariikhda dad unbiasedly waliba inagu as African dad madow Soomaaliyan nahay. waxa weeyaan inaga waxa weeyaan meeshan awooyaashina taariikhda difaacooniyo barigeena inagu adduunkan aysan jirnaan hayn super power de waxa weeyaan meeshan Ramallah iyo hadda magaalada yar ee Palestine ku taala the gold coins keena inaga archaeology side inaan inagu Soomaalihan ka eegnayn hano oo badii dhulka masaarif si fiican ugu qaraacinay waxa laga yaabaa gold coins keena Ramses iyo odayaashii ka dhinteen
odayaashii awooyay nooha awooyaashii ma ku aasamaaleeda meesha haye
waxaan sawaariqda iyo marfaca ka daayay halka kaliya inaan ka eegno laakiin inaan labadan qolo ma garanaysaa waa iyaga isaga keendo inaan u kala eexano iyo inaan qolo u baroorano waa nacasnimo weyn oo la taa marka intaasaan horta kaga baxayaan hore
mahadsanid Fircoon. Actually, thank you. I was gonna give Lucky a shot at the mic because I wanted to hear a female's perspective, but go ahead. Little man, Little man, what are your thoughts on this, bro?
No, man. Let Lucky go first. I'm just getting off now.
Okay, hi. So we'll move on to Hercules. So, what are your thoughts, bro?
My thoughts are, like, why are Somalis caping for Arabs in general? Like, it's just irritating. Like, it's protesting all that. We owe them no loyalty. That's how I feel. Period.
Okay. So do you think
obviously the children dying?
The children dying, because that touches you, right? That's what I was gonna say.
What were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, still, obviously, the children's dying and things like that obviously affects you as well, and that's something that's happening, right?
But that's part of war, no?
That's true. But at the end of the day, it's just these people that say that Israel doesn't deserve to have land. That's foul too. It makes no sense. Like, Arabs are taught to hate Jews for no absolute reason. But every Jew that I met has been nice to me, so why am I going to just judge them?
So you feel like we're taking on another man's plight or another man's vendetta that has nothing to do with us.
It's weak. What? Especially that Nintai is weak. Like, why are you caping? Like,
Okay.
You're not Arab.
That's
Yeah,
that's
Bira.
when you look at it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's give a chance to Tukahamadu. So do Olalo. Tukahamadu. Sidee kula tahay niyahow?
Sup, waan salaamay
Laga qaado walaalkay,
asxaabta.
laga qaado walaalkay.
How you doing, guys?
Doing well,
Yahow,
brother.
all right. Waxa weeye in many perspective baa laga eegi karaa arrintan, ma fahantay?
Sax.
Mid waa ta la sheegay oo waxa weeye sympathiga magaraysa waxa weeye ma loo naxariisanaya dadkan magaraysa laga awoodda weyn yahay. Always dadkuna yahow dee mar kasta ama ha khaldanaado ama yaanu khaldanaan laakiin qolada laga awood weyn yahay dee sympathy baa yar jira taas waa iska humanityga ma garatay laakiin haddii soomaalida la eego waxa la ilaawayaa taariikhdaba ma eegayaan wixii magaraysaa meesha weligeed inay arrintan soo jirtay oo soo jireen ahayd oo areadaa yar boqol diimood isku haysteen ma fahantay in la wada dego in la iscunayo in political tahay sayon waxyaabo badan ma fahantay marka hawshu ma yara marka markasta waxa weeye qofka weliba soomaaliga markaad kala hadlaysid waxa weeye qaybtaas sympathiga un ma fahantay ayuunbay ku dhegaan laakiin waxaan aaminsanahay meeshan meel degaysa maaha uma eko meel waa la soconayaa ilaa inta haddana qolo kale ay meesha fuulayso ayaa layswadaya marka anigu
waa power struggle baad leedahay buuxani
oo soo jiraya tiland yeah
okay mahadsanidin Tukahamadu. Lucky, you're back.
I managed to come back. Yes.
You managed to come back. Okay, I would really love to hear your thoughts on this one, Alo.
Well, first, hello to everyone.
Hey, how you doing? Hope you're well.
My issue with this whole thing was I've never had a personal connection to this conflict. Like I'm a Somali person living in Europe. I've looked at the conflict. I've learned about it, just like any other conflict, like Myanmar or things happening in China or South America. But what I've seen is it's not religious, in my opinion. It seems as though it is. Obviously, the mosque is there, the backstory is there, but it has always been an ethnic issue and a location issue. Those people, the Israelis, they came, they took land in a violent way, in a way that didn't work for the people that were there. The Palestinians were basically cheated. I can see that. But the people projecting, by people I mean Somalis, Pakistanis, Asian Muslims, like in East Asia, I think they're projecting their not doubts, but I'm saying their misplacement on how to deal with their religious views. A lot of people, they need to latch on to a conflict that makes them feel like something righteous, there's an injustice. So Palestine is a perfect narrative for them to express their religious views, to express violence, to express their anger and their extremism. A lot of people will say a lot of extreme things that you wouldn't expect from them, but this Palestinian conflict, which doesn't affect their day-to-day, suddenly makes them outraged, crying, like have these crazy outbursts. And I feel like it's kind of like their only way to really express their religious views through this conflict.
So it became an outlet for their religious views, is what you're saying. Okay.
Definitely. And especially for Pakistanis and all these, like these countries, they don't do anything to help Palestine, especially Pakistan. Like it just feels weird to me that such a nation cares about Islamophobia in France or all these other things. Like Somalis were burning the French flag. That's such a weird thing to do all the way in Somalia. Do you care what's happening over there?
It makes no sense, does it? It doesn't make any kind of sense.
It's an outlet. So it looks as though it's religious, but when you're on the ground, it's not. And a lot of liberal Palestinians are having an issue with this. When liberal Palestinians go on the internet to look for support, they see all these religious people saying all these religious things like the mosque, and they're thinking, what about our lives? What about us people here who don't really practice that? What about the Christians who don't practice Islam? What is this? This is not religious. This is an issue about us wanting to stay alive. Basically, that was my take. And that's why I find it so frustrating when I see Somalis get so emotional about this, because I know it's just their way of, they have no other way to get their Islamic outlet out. There's nothing happening in Saudi Arabia. And another thing is a lot of people have become disattached to Saudi Arabia. That's another take to take. It's like people look at Saudi Arabia as the enemy now, which is weird because Mecca is there. That should be the place that everyone worships, but they care more about Palestine because there's more of a victimization narrative that they can followed over
Okay.
there.
Okay. So that's an interesting thing that I wanted to
I'll go on
explore.
to,
You're
yeah.
basically saying that there's an exploitation of the victimhood to a certain
Yes,
extent. Is that what you said?
because
Okay.
because a lot of people, they feel misplaced. They live in the West, but they're Muslim, but then they also feel out of place. They have to live like a Westerner, but they have to still practice a religion from so and so year ago. So
Right.
they feel as though they still need to have like that. They express their pride and their righteousness, and they have to do it through a conflict. And I don't. It sounds harsh to say, but I'm a very pessimistic person when it comes to Islam. If this conflict ended well, it wouldn't end well for the Muslims. They have nothing else to go with now. They just have to be a regular Muslim,
Well, it's being
walking around.
often seen, right? It's obviously, well, they're outmatched, obviously.
Yes.
Ma,
Yeah,
is there
definitely.
someone that's under the impression that they're not outmatched? Because at one point, I think I think I think it was more than 6 Arab countries that had attacked Israel at the same time, and they couldn't defeat it. So I don't know why that is. That's always
And
been,
it's
it's always been
it,
one of my questions. I'm like, how can they not have
I,
defeated them?
and it's
Yeah.
a very easy social media outlet for young Muslims as well. Young Muslims live on social media, so they express their religion through that. And to see, oh, look, Turkey's doing so well talking against Israel, which is funny because Turkey has trade deals with Israel. So you can say anything you want on a speech and appease the
Absolutely.
people, and it works for them, but they're not really doing any research to look into why it's the way it is.
Those are good points you're making, Lucky, and I hope you stick around because there's a lot more questions I really like your take on.
I hope I can talk.
Yeah, you're talking very well. Little man, Kusodowo, what are your thoughts on this, bro?
Yeah, no, thank you, Nomad. This week I was talking to this girl that I know. She's a Muslim.
Okay.
And I said to her, like, Somalia is on fire. Why do you care about, not to say like Palestinian kohorta, yeah, like, you know, the innocent people that die. I feel sorry for them. And like, my heart goes out to them on both sides, Any innocent kid with this political thing, but the political people on top, I don't feel sorry for them.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, this girl, I said to her, like, Somalia gubanaysa maxaa kaa galay dad kale maxaad ka caawin dad kale adigoo dadkaaga gubanaya. Yeah. And Palestinians, do they have time for Somali horta? Let's say it was the other way around. Do you think they got time for
big
us?
Question. That's a big
Their house
question
is
you're
burning.
asking. That's a
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, cool. You know what she said to me? Her answer was, if Islam is a body, I forgot what she said. She goes, if Islam is a body, then Palestine is the heart. She said Palestine is the heart. I said to her, Naya, where did you hear that from? What Quran tells you this? What makes Palestine the heart? So like, and the other thing with the history thing, yeah, I don't know, the wall. I'm sure that wall that the Jews pray to is older than the mosque itself.
Right.
No, or is that? Or am I right or wrong?
Say that again. The what? The wall?
You know the wall that the Jews pray to is older than the mosque that the Muslims pray
that's
to.
the remaining of the King of Solomon's temple.
Yeah,
Right?
so that automatically shows you that the Jews have got more right to the area than you do. Their fucking walls are older than yours. Yeah.
Okay. You're saying if we're going by the relics on the ground, if we're going by the relics
if
on the ground.
if we're looking at things that are built, how could these people have buildings if they don't belong there? How do they get buildings there before you?
That's a good point. You know
what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. And hey, yo, little man, usually your mic is very crisp, but today something's off. You might be on the move, I think.
Yeah, I'm on the move. Yeah, I'm on the move. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
But did you guys hear some of the things I was saying?
I heard everything. It's just that there was a little bit of a background noise, but that's
all right. Sorry. I'll go on mute now. But that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you so very much, little man. I want to keep it moving because there's a lot of perspective on this panel that I really want to hear. And I want to hear all of yours, but I'm going to give each person a turn. I think that's the fairest way if we're talking about fairness. My question that I had was, can we ever know who's right and who's wrong in such a conflict? Can we ever lay the blame at the feet of anyone? Because that's what we seem to be wanting as humans. Dalmaro kusodo wala maxaad ka filaysaa adigu?
waa mahadsan tahay way adag tahay maxaa yeelay qof walbaba biaskiisii iyo dhanka uu u janjeeray ku xidhan tahay. Qofka muslimka ah dhanka muslimada u janjeeraa, qofka aan muslimkayna dhanka kale u janjeeraa. Marka runtii way yara adag tahay in qofku xaqiiq dhab ah uu ka helo unless aad qofkaasi uu research sameeyo, si fiican u baaro. Sidaan baa lagu ogaan karayaa. Marka dhibaata meeshan ka jirta, dhibaatadan dad baa kasii faa'iidaysanaya oo buunbuuninaya
صح
marka Soomaali ahaan anaga markaan nahay waxaa loo baahan yahay inaan si anagu labadana ma nihin yuhuudna ma nihin carabna ma nihin Soomaali baan nahay Afrikaan baan nahay qofka bini'aadanka had iyo jeer dantiisu eegtaa anaga waxaa weeyaan danteena inaan eegano waxaa weeye maanta anagaba dhibka Falastiin haysta ku ka daran baan haysta anaga Soomaali haddaan nahay dhul baana la ka haystaa Ethiopia dhul naga haysata Kenya dhul naga haysata
dhulkeeni baa occupied aa leedahay dhulkeeni baa occupied
sida iyaga hadda loogu qayrinayo si ka daran baa dadkeena loo galaa maalin walba Ethiopia dad bay laysaa Kenya dad bay laysaa soo ma garanaysid wax carab ah oo ku dhawaaqay weli ma aragtay oo ku banaan baxaya oo dadka adduunka u qayrinaya ma jirto marka Soomaalidu waxay tiraahdaa ninkii tiisa daryeelaa to kala ku dara horta anaga dhibaatadeena
ku soo celi xabida damaro waan qortaa markastaan maqlayna maxmaahe
ninkii tiisa daryeela ha yaa to kala ku dara marka anaga Soomaali baan nahay dhib baan haysta gumaysi baan haysta dhulkeeni baan haystaa soo ma garanaysid inaan dad kale iyo dhulkooda inaan u qeylqeylino warteena taada horta xali midda kale qofka adiga aad ka faa'iideyso ee ku caawinaya ee wax ku taraya ayaa lala heshiiyaa
dantaada laga raaca
carabtani markaan isleynayna Ethiopia can you imagine Ethiopia la soo safteen Ethiopia la jireen Ethiopia yes
Ethiopia carabta tiraahdi laakiin ayaad sheegaysaa dalmar carabta marka tiraahdi
Yamanta oo kale Yamanta oo Ethiopia la jireen Saudi Arabia oo kale Ethiopia la jireen soo ma garanaysid yes Yamanta hubbay siinayeen wax walbay siinayeen marka qofka waxaa la rabaa dantaada inaad eegato dadkani ma wax danay ku haya hadda waxaa jirta documentary couple of years ago la sameeyay Saudi Arabia dadka ugu sasareeya Saudi Arabia oo Ethiopia macnaha waxa weeyaan WikiLeaks-ki ayaa laga helay Ethiopia la heshiinay leeyahay Soomaalidan waxba hasiinina hala garaaco hala dilo ku xadgudba ay leeyihiin marka qofka dantiisa inuu gartaa loo baahan yahay carabtani dan kuma hayso kuma jecla dan kuma hayso dadkeenina fiiri anaga qaxooti ah siday noo galeen bal u fiirso maanta shacabkeena dadkii u qaxay sidee ula dhaqmeen si bini'aadanimada ka baxsan bay ula dhaqmeen way dilaan way kufsadaan kuwa jooga xataa maanta sharaf iyagaa lacag laga qaadaa weligaa maaragta qof qaxooti ah oo ilmaha uu dhala leeyahay waa inaad bil walba $200 keento marka dadka sidaa kula dhaqmaya inaad u qayliso oo u dagaalanto oo danahaaga dhaafiso waa laga fiicaya marka Soomaali ahaan anaga waa inaan danteena waa ka xunnahay dad masaakiin oo la
leeyahay doonaya intaan maxaa ku daay underline dal maro waayo dad ciyaal baa dhimanaya ubad baa dhimanaya dumar baa dhimanaya dad baa dhimanaya soo madarag marka humanity-giigu hede way dhaqaaqaysaa hiyar waayo waxani because it's so popular waxna la arkay we're bombarded with these images maanta hadii images laga soo diri lahaa maxaa ku daay waxa ka dhacay Soomaaliya asha kasta waragtamaha ama Afrikada kale oo dhan ama Asia kale oo dhan hede waxbaan dareemaya laakiin Middle East kan waxa ka dhacaya every year almost it's always on top of
every year same time as well same time always Ramadan
and that's another point that we're going to explore a little bit. Hold on to that one. That's a good one, bro. But like it's on top of mind markaste taasaan doonaya marka maxaa ku dhaday intaan yar galno oo dadka ku sheegno waxani maaha nacamdi nagama aha nacamdi naxariis darid maaha oo wax baan u dareeminaa dadkan dhimanaya ee ciyaalkeena dhimanaya umadkan dhimanaya waan dareeminaa lakin it's a lot bigger than what we're seeing baan ka fulaya anigu saasaan u jeedaa dalmaro waayo waa runtaa danteena wana ka raacno at the end of the day lakin marka television hor fadhiisatid lagu tuso ilmo yaro bam ku dhacday diga ku dhaqaaqay ilmahaaga ka kirasa
bini'aadan baan nahay oo ka naxeena Palestine oo kaliya ma aha meel walbo dad shacab loo dilayo la garaacayo waan ka naxeynaa meel walbo wax la dilayo waan ka naxeynaa balse waan u dagaalameynaa iyo lacagaha loo aruuriyo
waa maxay propaganda gooyaan
baqbaqdaas macnaha emotionka la kicinayo guriga calaamada la gubayo dan nooguma jirto anaga Afrikaan baan nahay danteena hataa Palestine hada Yahuud hadaan wax ka faa'iideyno inaan la heshiino waxyaalo badan baan ka faa'iidi lahayn Yahuuda laakiin nasiib darro carab baan iska dhignaa wadankeena Yahuudi waan ka mamnuucnay soo ma garanaysid
passportka Soomaaliyeed xitaa in Israel lagu matay karo soo ma aha
waan ka mamnuucnay yes mamnuuc baan iska dhignaa marka anaga danteena guud inaan eegano carabti baa la heshiinaysa fiirso Sacuudigi baa la heshiinaya imaaraadkii baa la heshiinaya qadarintii baa la heshiinaya turkidii baa la heshiiyey
maxaa leedahay dalmar ma kuwii nagu diray ayaa la heshiiyey ninka maxaan dhiga
iyagii baa la heshiiyey baahan gaajo ku hayso
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good
ka
point.
faa'iidaysta dadkan technology bay leeyihiin waa dad casri ah waa dad horumaray waa dad aqoon leh ka faa'iidaysta
ha aad baa umaadsantahay dalmaro Fir'aun, I want to hear you, bro. What are your thoughts? Can we ever know who's right and who's wrong on this thing?
That's a good question, bro. But I know waxaan ka eegaa personally, waxaan ka eegayaa always as a melanated folks xaggana black people kan ka eegaa moogta. Marka reason kan ugu eegayeen waxa weeyaan inaad waxaan raggan ma garanaysaa hadda Palestinians, we're not even aware of them. They got like a 1% of black Palestinians baxta jira. Ma garanaysaa. Or I was reading about this gulfnews.com some article about them laga sameeyay.
Haye.
Marka dadka waa dad la keenay 7-8 century as a slave lagu keenay.
Sax.
Inta ilaa 7-8 century ka dambeysay ilaa hadda they was living them area gaasi degan Palestine bay joogeen till today na waxa loola dhaqmaa as a third class citizen. Yani waxba kuma hayaan meesha. Marka we're not even aware ma garanaysaa dad madow inaga inay raggan saa ula dhaqmaan la alone inay inagoo ma garanaysaa intaan saga qeyraynayno halda marka idinka iyo dalmari way dhageysanayeen wabayga idinku wabayga caqli fiicantiin baa ugu yaran xaysaanbe
hayde fircoon walaalo laakiin ciyaal dhimanay markaad arkaysid dhiga ku dhaqaaqaya walaalo whatever the reason is
you know what bro waa saxsantihiin laakiin anigu waxaan siriniyo wadnahayga dadka madow buu u naxaaba dadkan Soomaalidan ma garanaysaa iyo as a whole community gan Islaamka sheegtaba
صح
perspective-koodan waxaan eegay hadda waxaan ognahay there's a worst case scenario ba ka jira ma garanaysaa situation ba ka jira Yemen 200,000 people baa dhintay since 2015 40 million people are living in ma garanaysaa absolute ma garanaysaa famine ku jira
facts
right it kana hayso muslim oo waa wadan hadana shan carbeed oo kale isugu tagto ma garanaysaa cunaa kaga istaageen Somali u barooranaya ma arag we know the same situation kama garanaysaa China oo kale 1 million ka meesha ku xidhan marka dadkan Soomaalida waxa weeyaan selective outrage iyo selective waxay leeyihiin baroritaan time marka anigu waxay la baroritaankiina selective outrage kiisa iska haysta as long as it's not black people
I ain't with it but I get to what's do Hercules idiyo kale really funny how it's one ummah when it comes to Arab conflicts with Jews. That's a good point. Bro. Yeah, that's a good point. 100%. That's a good point. So, Hercules. So I like the fact that you said that. That's a good point that you're making because that's how it seems, right? It seems like that's the only time the ummah is called upon. So please elaborate on that, bro.
Somali go pray about it. That's how they want it. Go pray about it. Go make dua about it. But, for Arab, protests, burning cities, like it's
that's
sad.
It. You even said that when it comes to people from African descent, we're left to starve and build for ourselves. Let's keep the same energy. That's a good point. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean?
Wallahi, the coonery started when Somalis wanted to be part of the Arab League. They want to erase their Somalinimo for Islam.
Okay, that's a good point, man. So you're basically saying it's not even that can we ever know who's right or who's wrong, but do we even care? That's what you're basically saying.
Exactly.
Should we even care?
Left to starve, but for Arabs, we're gonna donate, right? We're gonna donate, but we're gonna leave children in Africa starving, though.
Yeah, don't make sense. Don't make too much sense sometimes. So. I'm gonna break it up, but Lucky, why don't you come in? What are your thoughts? Can we ever know who's right and who's wrong in this conflict? And like Hercules said, should we even care?
It's too complicated to know. The issue is obviously moving a bunch of Israelis, a bunch of Jews to the land, and then forcing people out of their homes. It immediately shows that the Jews were in the wrong. You can't force people out of their homes. They should have taken settlements that the Palestinians have agreed to give to them. So it was in the wrong of the people who brought them there and brought them there in that fashion. But should we care? I mean, should you care about any issue in the world? You can always care. It's the way you express your care. Is it from a genuine place or is it from a self-serving place, really?
Good point. So which one should it be? I'm going to put you on the hot seat, Lucky. Which one should it be? Let's be frank. As Somalis, we're not in
It
the
should
best of positions in the world,
it should
right?
be it should come from a genuine place. Donate, care about what's happening, but it shouldn't be from a self-serving, which is when there's settlements like I couldn't care less about anything in the world, dunya done. I only care about saving the Palestinians. That sounds unhealthy and weird. That doesn't sound like a normal way to express, you know, how would you say, an agreement to helping the Palestinians. But I don't know. I think
But you said it. You said it right here, Lucky. You said, "Why would Somalis care about themselves or their own country when
yes.
Islam comes first?" That's a good point. That's a very
I
good
always
point.
say this. There is an unhealthy sentiment of who cares about this life? I'm gonna die anyway, and I'm going to heaven. There's that whole way of thinking is added to the situation. We're gonna save them no matter what, even if I die. That doesn't make any sense. That's not. That's a weird way to I don't know, to show support to Palestine. But when you see people doing it like that, you can see a lot of people just feel the need. They need that way to express their religious views.
And also, Lucky, sorry to disturb you, but and also, the story of on the day of judgment, like that's where the fight is going to happen. That's what they've been told. So every time that place erupts, it looks like
it looks like a lot of people say we can't wait. Not can't wait, but I just feel like I get that feeling from them that they can't wait when the
They're
world
almost
ends.
like they're almost like
sick of the
getting ready
reality
for
that they
something.
have.
Yeah, they're getting ready for
Yes.
something. Yeah,
A lot of people are sick of the reality that they have. They've come to the acceptance that the West is not turning Muslim. They come to the acceptance that they are the outsiders. So they just want the world to be over already. So they want there to be this big climax and for this righteous moment, and then go to heaven because that's how it's written. But
okay, they want to fulfill the prophecies. That's a good point.
Basically.
Lucky. Yeah, that's a good point. Really, James, I want to hear your thoughts on this, bro. Can we ever know who's right and who's wrong on this conflict? And like we were discussing, should we even care? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, first of all, yeah, we shouldn't care, but I feel like it's some like an ethno nationalist. I sympathize more with the Jews, man. I could give a shit about the Palestinians or the Arabs. It's the responsibility of their fathers and their leaders. They're going to war against them. They're throwing rockets, and their children are dying. If you love your kids, sign a peace deal and learn to retreat and take your L and to protect your kids. But instead, you're becoming an Islamist, and these, the people that are enabling this are the people in the diaspora protesting like cockroaches.
So what would you say to someone like what would you say to someone like Kushai Prince that said Demana have some heart? What would you say to that?
I don't give a shit. What do you mean? What do you mean? 2011 famines. 500,000 Somalis were dying. The bomb in 2017. No one cares about you. This is the problem. No one cares. If no one cares about me, look at the Kurdish people. They live they're being prosecuted in Turkey. They're stateless. They're in Iraq, Syria. They have no country. No one's talking about them. You know what I mean? They're fending for themselves. You know what I mean? They're living amongst ISIS. You know what I mean? They're living in the most hostile region. Yeah, no one's saying nothing about that. People like to pick and choose their struggle. I don't give a crap, man. Life is rough. You know what I mean?
That's
you have to protect your own.
True.
The Jews are suffering.
No, but that's very true. What Zakaria Ibrahim is saying is, as much as we are flooded with our own issues and problems, there's nothing inherently wrong in pointing out the injustices and horrible treatment that Palestinians are being subjected to.
Okay, so what about the natives in Canada then? Why are we talking about Palestine? Palestinians have Egypt. They can pack their bags and go move down to a city in Egypt and create their own society. They can pack their bags, go to Saudi Arabia, go to Syria, go to Jordan, go to Morocco, go to Algeria. There's so many Arab, Muslim-dominated countries they can live their life. The Jews have no choice but to fight for this land, and they're not going anywhere.
I think, but I think in this conflict, especially, I'm going to keep you guys to the Somali perspective, okay? Because that's what I really care about, okay? This has been going on before all of us were born, and it's probably going to keep happening after we die. What I want to say to Zakaria Ibrahim, which is very true what he said, we can still, point it out and stuff like that. But not to this extent. Like Lucky said, some Somalis even say they would sacrifice themselves for Al-Aqsa. So now, Zakaria, you have a bunch of Somali people, and I've seen those things going around social media. Somali people saying, Palestine ana lagayo. And I'm laughing like, okay, then what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Palestine? What exactly is this? Is this emotionality that's kind of riled up sometimes That's what I'm trying to kind of put the highlight on. Not to say
But
that
the thing is, though,
we shouldn't feel something. We should. We are human at the end of the day. But like to also say, should we maybe look beyond that, right? So I
No,
wanted
no,
to be.
this is BS. This
Yeah,
is
no,
BS.
really,
Sorry to cut you.
really, we're gonna come back to this. Walalo, I wanted to give
Okay.
Tukahamado a chance to give his 2
Okay.
cents. Tukahamado, so do Walalo. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Can
okay,
we ever know who's right and who's wrong in this conflict? Waxaan garan karna
no,
may tahay.
ma garan karno niyahow,
Ma
waxaan
garan
ma garan
karna, okay.
karno. Ta kalena niyahow waxaan ku wareegaynaa injustice-kan iyo magaraysa dhibaatada meesha ka dhacaysa. Of course, taasu yes way jirtaa, meelka xaggaasna way ka jirtaa, meeshana way ka jirtaa, ma fahantay? Laakiin I don't think inay point ku taatay. Meesha hadday tahay wax anugu Soomaalinima laga hadlaya. Meesha hadday tahay meesha ugu dambeysa the last war ka dhacaysa. Adu pioneer maxaad isaga dhigaysaa? Safka ugu horeeya maxaad u gelaysaa?
Who made you the pioneer? Yeah, okay.
Nin waxaasa laynagu samaynayo. Waxaan rabnaa inay pioneerkan seefta marka ugu horeysa qorta ka go-ayso.
Iflabodinta noqona ma hadda inaki.
Ta kalena yahow waxa weeye waxa Soomaaliya haddii la eego yahow 100 dowladood oo yar Puntland baa jirta, Somaliland baa jirta, Jubaland baa jirta. Waxa weeye adigu gurigaagu qasan yahay, ma fahantay? Ayaad meel kale oo
sidoo dalmar lahaa laga haysta Ethiopia, laga haysta Kenya.
5000 years meel la isku dagaalamayay ayaad magaraysaa ka hadlaysaa habeen iyo maalin caalamkii Israa'iil gulaysaa. Saaxiib, that's not your war, ma fahantay? Haddii la leeyahay dagaalka ugu dambeeya xaggaas uu ka dhacayaana ha noqona kuwa ugu dambeeya dagaalka safka dambe ku jira, ma fahantay? Laakiin
waxaa tiri waa runtaa weeyaan Tukahamado, waxaa tiri aad bay u runtahay. maxaa ka dhahay waa inaanu kala saarno amba waa inaan at least si fiican oo aragno waxay tahay arag soo maaha.
dhinaca political ka eeg, dhinaca waxaad ka eegtaa historical ka eeg, waxaad ka eegtaa dhinaca in humanity, ma fahantay? mid kasta jawaabteeda waad helaysaa, yes, ma fahantay? laakiin waxaan ahay maxaan ku dhahdaay waxay muuqato un qudus iyo magaraysaa iyo dhul la wada leeyahay adigoon ogeynba taariikhda meesha ka dambeysa. waxa weeye dhibaato waddankaaga hagaaji. Xamar last year mise waxay 2 years ago al-shabaab 500 qof bay in one bomb ku dileen. taas still inta Soomaaliya maanta inta xasuusto
waxa la moodaa intaan u oyno laba cishoon ka boodnan markaas ayaa la moodaa markay bomb ka dhacdo dhulkeena.
maxaa hadsoone meeshii gaariga weyn ku qarxiyey 500 ee Soomaalida ee miskiiniinta miyaa loo aamusaa 3 minutes silence, miyaa loo sameeyaa 1 minute silence, miyaa loo sameeyaa? No.
Tina aragna leedahay adigu marka Tina ku soo noqon.
Of course adigoo u naxayo qoladan kale, ma fahantay? adigoo oranaya khalad yaan la samayn, yaan dadka la dilayn. Of course waxa wada oran kartaa, laakiin haddana reality meesha waxa weeye waxa ka ciyaaro waaweyn baa laga ciyaaraya, ma fahantay? adigoo gurigaagu uu baabaasan yahay.
Tukahamado maxaa korin lahayd Beholdley's finest. I love that name, man. I don't think people dislike of Islam should also cause a lack of empathy in this matter. Let's be real now. Well, first of all, when you're more than welcome to hop on. Let me give you the link here. You're more than welcome to hop on and come say your piece. But I think that's a very good question. It's a very good segue to our next question. لكن معلومة لنا ستكهمدو عند ما دام عن الإسلام كي عن ورنيد واحد عنكو عن تاجرسنا هاي معها معلومة لنا أنت نقول عليه lack of empathy in the matter. أنا ما ملنا personally, but
no أنا reality قم بانو ملنا reality empathy إن لسه خدم معهني فهمت أدوك عقل بوش قيام فهمتي وحوي دناتشر ما أنت إن سعودي جن إن جراسة إن وحكست سمعني in lack of empathy uma sameynaya wuxuu arkaa interestkiisa, ma fahantay? Jordan waxa weeye next waxa weeye waa countrygan ku xiga, ma fahantay? meesha oo waxa degan most of them were Palestinian ما فهمتي لكن dantooday arkaan waxa way peace agreement baa ka dhaxeeya waa asxaab ma fahantay
Warun. Okay. Marka waana runta weyn you making very good points walaalo.
I've been there ma fahantay I've been there I know yeah
haye horta sida adiga lagu dhaqmay qof Soomaali adigoo ah
si fiican dhinacan kala dhinacan ducaysan si fiican baa lagala dhaqmay
dhinacan ruuxan yahay qofta dhinacan ducaysan weey
laakiin qolada kaleba waa wada waxa weeye shacab ahaan all right weeye labaduba ma fahantay inkasta de xaggan kale entertainmentku ku badan yahay ma garatay laakiin anigu xumaan kumaan arag
midna waa meel free midna meel la haysto weeyaan markaa isku mid ma noqonayso
waxa weeye 21st century bay ay la yar socotaa meelna de waxa weeye iska
wana la cadaadiyay ben sheegi meynay waa meel la cadaadiyay weeyaan oo
of course apartheid waxa weeye sidii South Africa ayaa meesha ka socota ma fahantay oo even berigii South Africa iyo Soomaalidu markii waqtigii Seattle era pan Africanism mid ku jirto South Africa way difaaci jirnay oo apartheidka waxay ahayn wadamada ugu horeeyay ee ka soo horjeeday ma fahantay maxay lahaa waxan waa khalad
sax
lagu sameeyay dadkan maantana saas waad oran kartaa laakiin meel aanad cilaaqaad bayn ka dhaxayn oo constitution-ka ku qoran yahay passport Israel ma soo gali karo what the fuck maxaad sugaysaa iyaga maamula adduunka
Okay, that's a good point. Can you please help me sort of winning Asma sort of walalo? Asma aad iyo aad baan ku soo dhawaynaa walaashay in I also wanted to hear your point. Maybe I'll give you the next pass at it. What are your thoughts on this conflict that's going on and the Somali perspective? Walalo, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought you said qofka kale ku xijina.
Well, we can come back to you if you want because I have another questions. I'm going through some questions, but I wanted to get your general thought of this issue.
Okay, well, I really wanted to talk about this, and it seems to me that dadka markay diinta ka baxaan they automatically start rooting for Israel.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Okay, that's a big claim, Asma. That's a big claim. I personally disagree with it. Like, I'm gonna let you finish. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, like I don't know the reason behind it, but I just want to say a few things.
Hey.
Hadda bin Adam hadda nahay regardless of diintiisa iyo wuxuu yahay. For example, hadda marka aragno Falastiiniinta waxa ku dhacay waa inaan ka naxnaa at the same time marka aragno Israa'iiliyiinta ilmaha ka dhimanaya iyo ay kale inaan ka naxna waay like dadka muslimiinta waxay sameynayaan waxay ka naxayaan kuwan bas ee ka naxayaan kuwan kalena waxa waa dhintaan
that's a good point. Okay.
Because I feel like humanity is what we have.
Okay, yes.
And Hadafi is the history. I'm going to take up some time, if that is all right, just to explain what's happening. And
well, we showed a whole Asma, we showed a whole clip, a 10-minute clip to basically set the basics.
Okay, then I'll wait.
So yeah, so maybe we can because there's a lot of different perspective on the panel that I really love, and I wanna be able to explore all of them. And I have a few questions. So hold on to that, Asma. I'm gonna go on to my next question, and even though Dalmar, I know where you stand, Walalo, I'm gonna still ask the question: is this a political issue or a religious issue? Is it being portrayed as a religious issue to garner the support of the so-called ummah? Kawaran Dalmar, maxay kula tahay?
Waa maasantahay saaxiib. Arrintan waa de marka la fiiriyo waa dad dhul isku haysta weeyaan. Laakiin dhulkii la isku haystay waxaa ka faa'iidaystay dad diintii baad sii shidaysa dabka sii shidaysa waxna waa dabkii waxna waa benziinkii korka loogu sii darayay
sax
maxaa yeelay arrintan hadday siyaasad un ahaan lahayd anigu waxaan fraylayaa bari horaa la xallin lahaa yuhuudduna dhul aysan lahayn maysan dhaheen meeshan annagaa iskale oo dad mayna eryeen yaa carabtuna dee meel aysan degenayn maysan dhaheen annagaa leh maysan dhihi lahayn so waxaan waxa sii shidaya oo yuhuudda Yurub joogta ay u laabanayaan ay leeyihiin dhulkan dadka masaakiin ah oo dhulkiisii degan meeshii awoogii ku dhashay laga kicinayo la eryayo gurigiisii cagaf la marinayo soo ma garanaysid waxa keenaya waa diin weeyaan diin bay salka ku haysaa oo yuhuuddan waxay aaminsan yihiin ilaahoodii baa dhulkan siiyey ya cid ku qabsan kartana ma jirto iyo aaminsan yihiin
oo laba bugoo kala duwan
marka
labadoodaba ilaahay baa la hadlay
labadoodaba midna waxaa la yidhi adigaa dadka ugu sharaf badan midna waxaa la yidhi adaa dadka ugu sharaf badan waxaa weeyaan baashan ilaahay baa dadka seefihii iskugu dhiibaya oo isku sii diraya
laakiin waxaan ka fikiraa hadda in yuhuud at least hadda bugooga waxay ku qoreen annakaana la doortay I think that was pretty smart
muslimiintuna saasay leeyihiin soo moogid kuntum khayra ummatin baa la yidhi
dalmarinino mad sorry han soo dhexgal please iga raalli ahaada meesha yara Somali sport inaad taqaanaan baan umaleynaya ayaan wax ka yar akhriyay marka waxa ku qoran baan ni akhriyay iga raalli ahaada one comment oo mala Twitter-ka mid Soomaaliya ayaa soo qoray I'd happily watch a burn down Somalia for a free and liberated Masjid Al-Aqsa. Not even the whole of Palestine, just Al-Aqsa means more to me than the whole horn and all it contains.
Wow.
Wow.
So even his family, his parents,
exactly. That's basically what he's saying.
A building means more to him.
Yes.
The worst thing is, if he was to go there, there would be racist to him. Like Palestinians are racist as well. Unlike Muslims.
Big time. Yeah, man, this is what I'm saying, man. This is why everything the Jews are doing is for their own safety and right, man. These Palestinians, man, they don't deserve that land.
Jews won by law, no? No, they won by courts. No, they won by the courts. They went to court. They didn't just take it.
No, the Jews went to war. They went to war and they won. They beat them. They were under what's it called? They were underarmed.
No, I mean, this time they went to court.
But Lula Man and Riddy, what I don't want, Anugu, is I don't want us discussing the conflict in the details because it's very hard that we just determined that it's very hard to know who's to blame, right? So if we go down that rabbit hole, it's only gonna get messy. I think personally. So I'm gonna hold you guys honest to the Somali perspective.
Yeah, but
Imika tukahamudu waxa noo akhriday.
Yeah, but I don't think the Jews.
Yeah, no, hold on, Riddy. No, I hear you, bro. I hear you. But tukahamudu comments ku imika noo akhriyo kala samaha. It kind of hurt my heart a little bit because qof Somali oo kule the whole of Somali oo dhan waxbay gama gelin hadii al-aqsa qorato la save garanayo. Marka waa inaad aragtid anigu it's not the fact that uu ka fikiray it's the fact that he felt the need to write it down so people know marka allegiance-kiisii buu rumaynayaa uu leeyahay diinteeda waxaan oo dhan igala weyn so madarag marka that's the mentality that we're dealing with so at the end of the day waa maxaa ku dhahay religious maxaa ku dhahay fuel waa sida sheegaysa dalmaro benziinki ayaa diintii oo benziin noqotay miyaan ahayn dalmar
aad iyo aad baashi baa diintii waa sii shidaysa yuhuuduna dad waxa sii shiday waxaan u dilayaan waxaan u samaynayaan waa diin darteed weeyaan
sax
ya diintii baa ilaahaygi baa kule waxaan adaa iskale dhulkan adaa le dadkan waxay yihiin malaha dil waxaa rabta ku tumo waxaa rabta samee baa leeyahay kuwan kalena saas oo kale waxaa kaloo jirta dhibaato kala jirta oo ah dadkan Palestiniyiinta ah waxaa haysta dhibaato siyaasad xumo ah waxaa haysato xagjirnimo haysato oo ka faa'iideysanayso waxaa haysato luqdad baa haysato hadda yuhuudda Palestiniyiintu adduunka u qaxeen Yurub bay joogaan Mareykankay joogaan haddana siyaasadda wadamadaas inay dhex galaan oo wax ka noqdaan hadda yuhuuddu maxay ku guuleysteen ma aha inay xoog iyo waxa ma aqli iyo siyaasad bay ku guuleysteen wadan walba ay joogaan waxbay ka noqdaan siyaasadiisii ayay mataqaanaa influence ku yeeshaan soo ma garanaysid dadka ay la joogaan sawir kale tusaan sawir been intay la soo baxaan bay tusaan soo ma garan hadda siyaasadda hadda dhibaatana maanta jirta waxay ku bilaabatay si yaroo wanaagsan bay ku bilaabatay dad masaakiina la dilay caruur dhagaxaan wataa la laayay masaajid baa inta la galay xabada lagu dhuftay soo ma garanaysid adduunku aad buu uga naxay laakiin baasha saa in lagu daayay ahayd adduunku uu ka naxi lahaa empathy buu dareemi lahaa soo ma garanaysid baasha saa in lagu daayay ahayd laakiin maxaa soo baxay xag jirin baa soo baxay wixii qasaya marka مدافع بيصوتوا
مقعود محلها وين اللي مقعود ده اسلامك جروب
حماس
خلاص انا تقاضى
اسلامك جهاد
حماس يا كواسا بلاضي
ها كوانا وحي سمينا متقانا مدافع بي soo tuurayaan mirig soo ma garanaysid wixii cirka isagoo meel gaarin ba yaa cirka lagu qarxinayaa
they counted them.
qolyahana waa siyaasi adduunka maxay tusayaan self defense baan nahay anagu waa isdifaacayna gantaalada Soomaaliya lagu soo tuuraya we have to waa inaan isdifaacno waa la qasayba meeshii say ahaydba si kala loo sawiray ya adduunkana si kala loo sawiraya meediyaha si kala u sawiraya marka bahasha waxay ku fiican tahay dadka Palestiniintu ya haday doonayaan xorriyad iyo waxaas waa inay xaq jirkaas ka qabtaan qasaya xornimadooda hortaagan caruurtooda fiiri haday rabaan jihaad oo inay dagaalamaan rabaan banaankaas uga baxaan ciidamada maxay tahay sababta caruurta iyo guryaha iyo masaajidada ay ugu dhuumanayaan ee madaafiicda
waa laga quwad weyn yahay dalma waa laga quwad weyn
quwad lahayn meel fariiso dadka la heshii ya dad hadda Palestiniintu waxay leeyihiin dad secular ay leeyihiin dad masiixiyiin ay leeyihiin waxaan waa la xalin lahaa ya adduunka la tusi lahaa adduunka wada fariisan lahaa laakiin meeshii waxaa jooga in yaroo xaq jir ah mana dagaalami karaan waxba iskama dhicinayaan wixina way qasayaan soo ma garanaysid ya waxay ku leeyihiin yuhuudaan burburinayna dawlad uma ogolin de miis ma fadhiisan kartid qofka waa inaad wax u ogolaato waa inaad tiraahdo qof jiraa tahay qof nool baa tahay ya meeshan aan ku wada noolaana waa inaad tiraahdo laakiin ninkan xaq jirka ah ku socon kale
I wanted to just chime in because what you're saying is exactly my point of view on this topic. Because Hamas, in my opinion, especially the way they've been moving the past couple of years, they threw the first rocket first this year. So I'm not talking about the past ones, but this year, after the issues at the mosque, they threw the first rocket. Why would they do that in a situation where they know they have people to protect? So I don't feel like their intention is to protect their own Palestinian people, is to get more political gain. In order to get more funding, they need to have conflict. So they started this conflict this year, in my opinion, because they threw the first rocket in a situation where they knew they would be in a defense. And there was talk this year that the Israeli president is not doing well. So he will attack back very badly to impress his Israeli people so he can get more votes. It was such a strategic move to now put young children, moms, and all these people in harm's way, and then to say, we need help. Their leader is in Qatar, in safety, making these strategic moves, putting his own people, sacrificing them, like he said, jihad. But I don't think people there would
do you think that's coming from a realm of religiosity? Because what
politics. No, I think it's politics. I think it's politics. You need to have a conflict.
So this is like a high-scale kamikaze, is what you're talking about, Lucky. We're talking about high. Yeah.
I mean, if they don't have conflict every year, how are they going to get more funding? How are they going to get more guns? How are they going to get more rockets? How are they going to get anything? It was very quiet this year. This Ramadan, I even said to myself, very quiet. Nothing's been going on over there. Like, good for them. But then it just kicked off, and it kicked off after the mosque situation. Yes, it's terrible, but why would you put your own people in harm's way, throw rockets that don't even land, throw rockets that do nothing?
Well, they say that 95% of these rockets are deflected by the Iron Dome, the Israeli Iron
but they
Dome.
know the Iron Dome's there. I mean, they're strategic people. They've been in this conflict a long time. They probably know what's heading their way if they throw something.
So what's in the psyche of a person to want to kill their own kids?
Money. I mean, this man's living in Qatar. He needs funding. He's funding his leaders, his people.
He's making the calls from Qatar.
It's an organization. The minute a cause has an organization at the front of it, you don't know what they're in for. You don't know their intentions, basically. So I completely agree with the person talking before me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So, Fir'aun, maxaad ka filaysaa adigu walaalo? Kusoo dhawo, what do you think adigu walaalo?
Yeah, bro. I think basically, bro, it's like it is impossible to fully understand the Arab-Palestinian Israeli conflict and without recognizing the long history I think this thing is fundamentally a religious issue. Since medieval days, Richard Ironhand to me, yeah. So I'm thinking, till medieval times, you need that dedication kayo magaranaysa dadkan martyrs ka aaminsan iyo inan yaro waalid abihi caruurtoodii ku xidhaya bamo black scarf u xidhayo le ma garanaysaa iyo janno iyo meel baas baa u socotaa iyo riwaayadii wax lagu akhriyey marka taa hadda waxaan kasoo kale ilaawey waxaan rabay point yar buu xusuusiyey brother Rick James really James he had a good point buu xusuusiyey like hadda waxaan u eego kale ma garanaysaa hadda ragga kurdidoo kale ragga iyagu waa bilaa dhul bay iska yihiin unofficially ba arabtan kale iyo wadanadan kale oo dhan maalin waxaan daawanayay nin la wareegaalaysanaya mike ma garanaysaa wuxuu wareysanayay markaa falastiiniinta weydiinaya wuxuu yidhi what do you think about the Turkey su'aal buu weydiiyaa because they all was answering yeah we love Turkey we support Turkey markaasuu mid kasta wuxuu ku celiyaa next questionka what do you think about the Kurdish ma garanaysaa independence most of them were trying to dodge that question. I don't really fully understand. We don't support. Marka iyagu dantooda ciyaarayaan ma garanaysaa.
Sax.
Dalaba dadkan inagayna la ma garanaysaa niyo nobody iyo dalmaro ma naxaysaan iyo yuhuud baa u hiilanaysaa iyo this and that. Do they know the biggest Islamic country Indonesia ku yaala every day hundreds of kunyaal laayo Papua New Guinea dhul ka qaadayo dad madow dhulkoodii iyo ma garanaysaa oilkooda la xadayo maalin kasta la iska leeyahay like animals.
Sax.
But there is no media or Western media covering obviously that issue. So even hadii dadkeenina xitaa loo soo cover gareyn lahaana we are so such a magaranaysa waxaan noqonay the people's baan noqonay dadka la haystaan marka I believe basically I believe sheekadan waa weeye waa religious issue waana midaan inaga inoo all marka akhiraas waa dhaceen carabta iyo
okay, Asma, kusodo olalo. What do you think? Do you think this is a religious issue, a political issue? Are we garnering the ummah after this? Is this a religious cry? What are you thinking?
First of all, I want to apologize for generalizing before. I apologize.
Don't worry. This is Free Somali Minds, Asma. We get to say what we have to say, and you'll hear contrary opinions, and that's how it is.
No. I shouldn't have.
That's fine.
waxaa dareemaya hadda qofka Soomaaliyeed oo maanta u gubanayo waxa Falastiin ka dhacayo hadday ahaan lahayd siyaasad ama waxyaabahaas oo kale dhulka Soomaaliya dhul lagama heysado mogtahay Falastiin laga heysada dhulka marka Soomaaliya oo kale qofka jooga wuxuu u gubanayo waa un diin waaye
okay warun
and haddaa xoogaa ka hadlo si babsis ahaan aniga my opinion on the subject
right
horta Falastiin haddii la fiiriyo markii dadkii ugu koowaad oo soo degay waxaa la dhahaa dad Kancaaniyuun I don't know Englishka wax lagu dhaho kadib waxaa soo degtay Israa'iil kadib Falastiiniyiin hadda markii Hitler markuu dhameeyey the Holocaust and dadkan way fikireen waxay dhaheen waa inaan dowlad samaysanaa because haddee kan oo kale soo noqoto waa dhib ma ogtahay
inkastoo maxaa ku dahay movementka Zionism la idhaahdo uu ka horreeyey Second World War Soma Ben Gurion I think was in the aad buu uga horreeyey First World War ka horreeyey xataa ka falay
uu ka horreeyey laakiin meel ahayn like adduunka ku yacsanaayeen so anyway first waxay u socdeen Argentina umaleyna and then waxay imaadeen Falastiin markay imaadeen oo wadankii this is what I say Somali waxay ku mamahday lax kasta meesha isdhigtaa lagu qalaa and so obviously kuwan waxa Britain helped inay halkas aadaan markay aadeen fast forward waxay bilaabeen to prosecute kuwan oo the Nazis oo soo dilaayeen the history and when I like Israel like ninka waxa laga soo qabtay Argentina laga soo qabtay and then Israel la keenay and then markii dambe he was hanged way dileen marka arkay I was so ani hadaa ka dhalan lahaa family oo Yahuud ah I would have been so proud
right yeah that's a good move that's a big move weyn
like it's crazy that's kind they made like waxna ahayn out of something anyway so obviously say u qaateen wadanka si akhlaaq xume ahayd oo dad badan ay dileen oo ma fahamtay but like this is the question hadda u soo jeesana Falastiiniinta wixii waa dhaceen waa laga xoog badan yahay
sax
okay maanta dhan ma ooyin kartid ma dhihi kartid inaa wadankayga soo cistaarwa because ma dhacayso let's be real.
Okay.
Hadda maxaa la qabanay? What should we do now? Wixii dhaca way dhaceen. So this is what I see dadka meesha khaladka sameynayaan oo kale hadda. Markii la arko hadda wixii ka dhacayo dadka dhan way boodayaan. Dadka Falastiiniyiinta waxa lagu dhahay jihaada, xamaasada la gelinaya. Rather than lihi lahaa, listen, tartiib waa inaa yani adduunka dhan inaa u sheegno waaye inaa Israa'iil inaa aaminsannahay inay dowlad tahay, annagana dowladaa rabnaa. Let's settle down. Peace. That would be the rational thing to do. But qofna waxaas ma sameynaa, kulli waxay leeyihiin waa jihaadina, dhagax tutuurayna, kadib waa soo ceshanayna Falastiin. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So what is that? What is that? What's this thing pushing them? Where's this zeal coming from? Adigoo qof ka xoog weyn, qofkii aad ka xoog quwada weyneed uu ku leeyahay waan kula dagaaltamaya lamayntaan dhimanayo. That's pretty committed, if you ask me. That's commitment.
No. Ayaka hadday dhihi lahaayeen, hadday caalamka dhan tusi lahaayeen, listen, annaga dagaal ma rabno. Haddaa Falastiiniyiin nahay, we want peace. And Israel waa aaminsannahay inay dowlad tahay. We give it that, like dowladaa tahay. We get it. Waa aaminsannahay. Now, annagana inteena ahaysano.
Ma oran karayaan intaa, laakiin ma oran karayaan intaa.
Ma dhahayaan, yes. Ma dhahayaan. Because qofkii dhaho waxaa dhahayaa khaa'inaa tahay. You're a traitor. Waxaa la jirtaa Israel. So, diinta, in a way, it's not rational. Qofka dhan dadkan dhan waxaa wado caatifadaa wado, ma ogtahay? Because diinba it's based on emotions. It has like
it's all emotional. All of it is emotions, yeah.
It's emotional. So haddii dadka ay fikiri lahaayeen and hadday ahaan lahaayeen rational beings, haddaa loo fikiri lahaa, wax badanaa la qaban lahaa.
It's a good point. That's a good point. So are you saying basically we're not seeing things for what they are? I agree with you, the intentions of the leaders, but they are using religion as a scapegoat. Ordinary people do not see the real intentions. Palestine, markas waxaa laga fikraa inay Muslimiin wada yihiin. Palestinidu Christian bay leeyihiin xitaa. There's a lot of Christian Palestinians. Ayaga ka hadla kuwaas. Kuwa lama hadlahayo. We seem to always forget them. Marka laga dhigayo religious, soo madarag. Waa laga reeba Palestiniintan in Masiixiga.
Exactly. And one more thing I just want to mention. Ma aragtiin sawiradaanayta oo viralka noqonayaan wiil oo Falastiin oo qoslaya asagoo lahay iyo ama dhagax tuuray iyo as you need to that they're posing. Ma fahmaysaa?
They're posing for what? Yeah.
For them to waa geesi wadankiisa u dagaalamaya because they know waxay dadka kale waxaasay rabaa inay arkaan. يعني ilmahan they are ready to die just to show the world, we're fighting. This is what you guys want to see. Okay, we're fighting.
Look, so is the fight the thing? So are we saying maybe is the fight the real thing and not so much whether we there's a win or loss? Is the fighting itself justifying this whole thing? Is that what we're saying?
Yes. It's just the fighting because waxaa ku sheega dadkan Muslimiintu waxay aaminsan yihiin if they just hadday enough dhagax hadday tuuraan and ay duceeyaan Falastiin way soo noqoni. That's what they believe. Just enough dhagax tuura, just geesi noqda. Ilmihii oo teenagerska ahaa halkaas waxa yani isdila orod soo jihaada. صح صح يعني انت لا dhihi lahaa no because hal waxa ku sheega yaa qaalisan dhulka ma qaalisan mise naftaada qaalisan
waxa la moodaa siday Falastiiniintu leadership-kooda say u socdaan it seems like dhulka qaalisan dadkii qaali maaha waa dhulka ka qaalisan
markay sheekada halkas gaarto no there is something wrong markii qofka nafsadiisa yani dhulkas markuu ka qaali noqdo qofka nafsadiisa there is something wrong.
Okay. That's a good point. Little man, I want you to chime in, man. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so well, yeah. No, I was just listening. Well, I
Okay,
was listening. I was gonna add on to some points, but I get
yeah.
what you're saying. Don't go into the politics, and that's what I
That
like to do because of anger. Yeah, but it's true, man.
mm,
Yeah, about Dente and all that, but I agree with what that guy was just saying now.
that's what I'm saying basically is that at the end of the day, this is something that's been going on before we were born, and this is something that's gonna keep going on after we're long gone. I believe so. The way it's going. Marka, waxaan doonaytaan ka hadlo, like, do we sometimes summon the power, the superpowers of the ummah? You know, whenever they say the ummah, I always think of the bat sign, you know, in the sky, you know, the flashlight. That's what I kind of think about, right? And that light, that flashlight, is never put on for any African. It's always put on, like Hercules was saying earlier, when it's the Palestinian issue. Marka, or is it being portrayed as a religious issue, in largely to summon the support of the so-called ummah? Do you think that's what's happening? هكذا فرعون هذا هو سو جيدين بو كورن.
Say that again, bro.
Do you think that هكذا marka la yiraahdo umma soo ma marka la yiraahdo umma, the power of the ummah, waxaa la moodaa it's like a flashlight, like the bat sign, I guess, the Batman sign
Invisible
in the sky.
flying pipe.
There you go. That's kind of what I think in my head. You know what I'm saying?
Like
Do you think waxaa ka laakiin lagama hadlo markay Afrikaanku dhimanayaan ummada iyo waxa lama soo hadal qaado markay
Yeah, I think
Palestinians
it's one of those. You're definitely right. It's one of those emotional card. Come on, said like and then even there was another way now weeyaan waa Carabta xitaa intoodan dee maxaa la yidhaahaa the government code. They just use that card ma garanaysaa dadkoodan diinta ku xidhan the poverty the less educated ones code.
Got it.
Loso kaarka yar loogu xoqoqaa inaguna Soomaaliduna unfortunately inagu ma lihiin xitaa ma garanaysaa no office yo inay cid inaga qabata ama urur wax inaga qabta inagu filinka caadi ba kaarka caadi baan u leefleefnaa badda inagu waxaan nahay ba we smell it like 100 meters away ma garanaysaa kaarka meeshu yaalo
that's exactly what's happening,
and
we're falling for it. We're falling for it for whatever reason.
One of those way and dadka laga dhaadhiciyo umma jirta laakiin but truth of the matter is waxay umma haday jirto shan wadano Carabin Yemen hadda situationka ku jirta kama dhigan, you know what I mean? Umma haday jirto Afghanistan haday maalin habla yar laguma qarxiyeen laakiin waxaan waa iska ma garanaysaa waa
iska jireen you make the ummah sound like Captain Planet. I'm just saying that's kind of like activating another dimension almost. Ummah markay yiraahdaan adigu maan maqal mar qoraato marka la yiraahdo ummah Soomaali laga hadlayo weliga ma maqal markaas ummah la yiraahdo Carab baa ayaa loo difaacaya adigu calay marka haday Soomaalidu ismoodinta ummadan ku jirto miyaanay Soomaali Maxamed baba isugu yeeran kolkole miyaanay shouldn't they reap the benefits as well or are they just there just because? That's what I don't get. You know what I mean? Tukahamado say kula tahay walaal adiga
baleer suge geer bood waan ku soo noqonaya
way dalmaro kusoo dhawo dalmaro
waa maasan tahay
mudan
waxaa weeyaan bahashan umma iyo markay marayso dadka masaakiinta ah aan waxba fahansanayn baa looga faa'iideysanayaa
sax
hadda Masaari iyo Palestine yaa iskaga dhow cid iskaga dhow ma jirto waa dad
brothers
waa dad walaala waa dad qabiil waa Masaaridii oo safartay oo xagga aadi un weeyaan soo ma garanaysid waa Soomaalida Ethiopia degan Soomaalida Kenya degan oo kale un weeyaan wixii noocaas ahaa Masaaridii Yahuud inta la fariisteen iyo heshiis la saxiixdeen ee dhaheen waan ida aqoonsanay dawlad baa tihiin yaa aan heshiino wadanka naga haystaan nooga kaca annaguna waan aqoonsanaynaa soo ma garanaysid Jordan baa saa samaysay boqorkan la yiraahdo Jordan oo Nabi Maxamed ehelkiisii way dadka ka soo jeeda way waa reer Bani Hashim way
sax
reer Bani Hashim baa la fariistay Yahuud oo yiri waan aqoonsanay heshiis aan kala saxiixano soo ma garanaysid
sax
Carabtii la dhalatay baa waxaan la heshiiyay marka sababta Palestiniyiintu ay waxaan ayagana u garan la yihiin meesha doqonnimo taala ayagana waa dad sida Soomaalida oo kala oo masaakiin ah oo laga faa'iideysanayo game lagu kor ciyaarayo weeyaan ani waxaan filayaa haday maxay ahayd dadkaani ay dad maxay ahayd ahaan lahaayeen sida Carabta kale dariskooda ay sameeyeen iyo iyagana la fariisan lahaayeen waxay dhihi lahaayeen roor aan heshiino anaga dad walaala anaga wada degan war intaad haysataan haysta anagana nolol noo ogolaada calankeena dowlad aan noqono yay dhihi lahaayeen iyaguna waa Soomaali oo kale weeye waa laga faa'iideysanayaa dab baa lagu korshidayaa dad baa ku kor shaqaysanaya
صح
marka waxaan kaarkan ummadda la wado waa wax dadka looga faa'iideysanayo waa sida hadda walaalkeen uu sheegay Soomaaliya dhul baa laga haystaa dad aan muslim ahayn baa ka haysata cid u ooynaysa iyo cid u qaylinaysa ma jirto kurdiyiinta fiirsa hadda maxay tahay sababta kurdiyiintu ay islaamka uga baxaan wax kale ma aha waa ciilka haysta weeye kurdiyiinta magaalada hadda u jeedo Jerusalemka yaa xoreeyay kurdiyiin baa ahaayeen Salahuddin al-Ayyubi Salahuddin al-Ayyubi waa nin yuhuud ahaa sida Soomaalida loo isticmaali jiray qolyahan kurdiyiinta kaalaya dagaalka gala jihaadka gala ayaga carabtu waa fulayaan way ayaga waa carar jireen nimankan kurdiyiinta u jilbajab iyo turkida ayaa intii u jilbajabsadeen yay ka saareen wixii meesha jooga oo dhan yay xoreeyeen soo ma garanaysid sidaasay ku dageen wixii noocaas ahaa waxaa weeyaan kurdiyadii saarta loo galaa maanta Ciraaq baa lagu gumaystaa Iiraan baa lagu gumaystaa soo ma garanaysid turkida gumaysata oo si xun ula dhaqanta waa dad ummad dhan oo wax dawlad haysanin weeyaan qof carab ah iyo jaamacad carab ka hadlaysana ma jirto way badan yihiin adduunka dad badan hadda maxaa jirta Kashmir baa jirta wadamo fara badan oo laga haystaa jirto
صح
arki maysid wax iyo wax u qaylinaya iyo wax masaajidada laga qaylinayo arki maysid laakiin sheekadan markay imaato waa lagaaga faa'iideysanayaa dadka masaakiinta siyaasadda aan fahmaynin emotionka iska ah yaa looga faa'iideysanayaa waxaan marka aqligu ha shaqeeyaan leenahay annagu waxaa weeyaan ummaddu waa inaad adiga faa'iido ku qabto intii dad kale ay kaa faa'iideysanayaan adigu ku faa'iideyso intaad qayliso maanta umooy kaalayaay wadan baa laga haystaaye iyo caawiyay dheh
bal adigu activate garee baa leedahay bad signalka
waxaa weeyaan adduunku waxaa weeyaan waa la kala faa'iideystaa scratch my back I will scratch your back weeyaan
صح
adigu waad qaylisay waad dhawaaqday naftaadii baad u hurtay Soomaaliya dhan baad burburisay xataa oo tiri aniga Qudus baan u horeeyaa Soomaa bal adiga waxaad tiraa magaalada yar jijiga ah kaalay ila xoreeya dheh cid shuuku dhahaysa ma jirto soo dantaada garo
Wasanu Caramel the idea of the Ummah is so fake because there are countries that are Muslim who support Israel. ما تعدان أجنها ده محاكنا محمد بن سلمان وكذا أصحابه يهين محاكنا ضاي إسرائيل
صاحبه وين
وين
دبي بقى صاحب لا قطر بقى صاحب لا وما
قال فهمي
أيجي بقى سنعب حتى أيجي بقى حد سنعب حتى هذا برسيت بوجده
عادي
أبدأ سعودي قطر يا محل هذا ودمنا القليش كلام ما أركي كران فلسطينيين
صح
ونعبيين أو كلية وامحي إيران أو إلى صاحبين أو كلية بس أنت صاروا نعيا وحن هذا فيري واحد يربي يكون قادر يسا عربته هذين مذوبان عربته هذين مذوبان إيه دهان أنا وش ذا كان شو شيء إن أدونك يا إلا أنت الحلي هذين دهان
وكوي بري يسكودي بري بيسكودي إن سما هارت بري بيسكودي بري بيسكودي
حلس مسا وحني سو ما قرنيس way xalis meesa waxa weeye carabti baa waxaan ayagii baa kala jeeda ayagii baa isnacib ayagii baa iscunaya dad ayagii isnacib oo iscunaya de maxaad uga dayanaysaa walaalayaal
on that point maxaa ku rahdaaye in dalmaro waxaan inoo hayaa a 2-minute video uu fircoon ii soo diray aan aad uga helay oo maxaa ku rahdaaye ku tusaya halkay ka taagan tahay Saudi Arabia حكي ما تكتاج انت هاي شيكادن كسعوتا مركب الإلير دعوة و 2 minutes وين if you guys can just mute up and let's watch this it's subtitled
أنا أتكلم عن رأي عام اليوم الرأي العام عارم يعني هناك سيل يعني طوفان ضد القضية الفلسطينية بات ليس هو فقط مع التطبيع وبناء علاقات مع إسرائيل بل هو ضد الفلسطينيين أصبح بشكل عام لأنه الفلسطينيين للأسف الشديد هم خسروا يعني اليوم الفلسطينيين ما عاد يعني لم يقدموا شيء يعني عبارة عن نستطيع أن نقول بأنهم شعب عاطفي مشاعره تتحكم في سلوكه. لو سالتي، لو اتيتي الى المملكه العربيه السعوديه وقمتي بعمل استطلاع للراي، لوجدتي حتى لو سالتي المتوسط او الثانوي لقال لك لا يعنينا ليس فقط القضيه الفلسطينيه بل جميع العرب، لم يعد يعنون للشعب في المملكه العربيه السعوديه شيء. هذا النقاش يدور في المملكه العربيه السعوديه بصوت عالي جدا، عالي جدا يعني منذ نحو سنتين. يعني كان أول صوت خافت، اليوم بدأ صوت عالي جدا. هذا الصوت بدأ يظهر للعلن، بدأ يعبر عن رأيه بأن القضية الفلسطينية وحتى العرب بشكل عام لا يعنون بشيء. علينا أن نرتب علاقاتنا وفق مصالحنا ومن مصلحتنا الاستراتيجية ومن مصلحتنا سواء كان من ناحية اقتصادية أو من ناحية إذا كنا ننظر للمستقبل. العلاقة الحقيقية يجب أن تكون مع إسرائيل. إسرائيل دولة متقدمة ونستفيد منها. تركيا قامت علاقات مع إسرائيل، حدث تطور هائل في يعني إذا كان الجامعة الدول العربية تصدر بيانات فما بالنا محامين ليس لها قيمة. يعني على أرض الواقع نحن يجب أن نتعامل مع الواقع. هناك العلاقات تجاوزت التطبيع. يعني يجب أن العلاقات باتت حميمية، يعني ليست فقط عملية تطبيع وما شابه ذلك. العلاقات بدأت تصل إلى مرحلة حميمية جدا يعني.
Word.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? فرعون هذا اي soo diray kaasi markaa daawaday waxaan idhi maaha waa exactly waxaan sheegaynay in weeyaan yana hay yeah
You're 100% right, brother. 100% right.
that's exactly what we're saying.
yaa u sheegaya innaga haddaba addoontan diracyada carbeedda xidhan ee magaalooyinkii meel kasta ugu hortaban yaa u sheegaya balniyo burcayo muqdisho yaa u sheegaya hargeysa
waa cajiib waa la yaab
meel kasta dirac carbeed bay la taagan yihiin. waxaad moodaaba inay alternative world Jupiter ku nool yihiin baad moodaaba inay adduunka ba la socon
alternative maxaa kada reality bay ku soo ayay ku leeyahay.
It's unbelievable, bro. It's unbelievable what's happening. يعني
but the thing is carabtii baa xitaa u aragtay sheekadan aragtay oo iyagii baa iska soo horjeeda.
What in reality you Arab they don't give a shit. runta fiican.
Absolutely.
Waa inaga
horumaristooda arkayaan iyagu maxaa ka galay
big time.
waa sidii inaan saaxiibanahay oo Libnaaniya la hadlayay markaasuu yidhi وقام من لبناني ومحكض ayaa la hadlayay mid Mossad reer Mossad oo Israa'iiliinta markaasuu yidhi maaha waayo dadka easy maxakad la isku diri karo dadka laga badin karo markaasuu yidhi Arabs waayo carabtu iyagaa iska hor yimaada buu yidhiba cid kale uma baahnaba iyagii baa iska hor imanaya buu yidhi ka waran markaas inakuna xakan la socsoconnaa waa cadkii fircoone diracado aanu leenahay waxaan al-aqsa u dagaaltamaynaayo maxakad Soomaaliya u dilaynaa. What is this? Hello, man. What do you think, bro? What do you think? Yeah. It's weird to me. It's weird to me that because at the same time, Somali, at the same time, yeah, no problem. Virtual humanoid, no problem. I'll definitely post that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to find it, but I'll definitely post that. Let me just try and find it, and I'll post it. But yeah, how well
Dalmar very nicely. Dalmar ma xusuusata raggan markii aad ka hadlaysay talaxumadooda haysata raggan Palestiniinta waxa kale kaaga daran ma garanaysaa raggoodan hadda labadooda regime Fatahdan iyo Hamastan 10 years islama hadlaan xitaa they don't even have a
warunta
talaxumadooda ma garanaysaa once upon a time back in the days ma garanaysaa ninkii haysatay odagii Amin Hussein loo oran jiray 1930s kii raggan alliance xitaa Nazis-kay la galeen marka waa siyaasad nacasnimadooda meel kasta ay la soo mareen carabtii kale dadka kuwa leeday waa fashilmateen waxba keeni meysaan bal hadaba Soomaaligan dagaal iyo xul sheegay iyo Pakistaanigan dagaal iska budaalay
ayaa ka dhaadhicinaya isaga
mid kalena way jirtaa guys mid kalena way jirtaa imka arab ku nool Tel Aviv haddaad tahdid Tel Aviv arab ku nool haddaad ku tahdid West Bank tag waariga daabu koranaya the inside in West Bank mooyaane iyo West Bank iyo Gaza mooyaane in Israel ta kale Arab ku nooshay you know I think 2 million baa ku nool
صح
Araba in Israel mashiga West Bank kan ay deegaan Palestine iyo Gaza waxaan ku way shaqaystaan wax kasta waa dhag hadda tahay West Bank tag ama Gaza tag no way ma fahanteen
يجي بديد
marka taas iyagii baa diidaya carab xaafad degan ama Tel Aviv degan sin kama ogolaanayo maca reerkiisa kuma soo boqonayo ramada
صح
yeah
Oh my god. One post gareye for everybody that was interested in the video link. I just posted it. So that's the YouTube link. And I just posted it so you guys can watch it on your own leisure as well. Ha bil warunta weyan waa inay marka maxaad u malaynaysaa tukaha madow hade su'aal baan doonta ku weydiiyo walaalo
big time
maanta waxaanu aragnaa maanta waxaanu arkaynaa social media bay jirta soo madare social media waxaanu arkaynaa marka hade inta Soomaalidii markay xitaa damiirkay u helaan markay Palestinian u dabaaldegayaan hade anigayga ma kala kamid aha I'm not going to talk as if I wasn't right I used to be the person that actually goes on Parliament Hill hakan oo u dooda maxaa ku daayay free Palestine la soo madare wana wax aan maxaa ku daayay aan iska wa history and here unka ogaa berigaas history on one side or qolatan ka ogaa I didn't know both sides so madare I didn't care to know about both sides waxaan arkay dad la dilayo ma arkay waa that's gotta stop malaha samee marka Soomaalidan badana maxaa ku daayay u dabaaldegaysa maxaa ku daayay u halgamay waxaan soo madare sidee baad u aragtaa adigu marka ma waxba inaga galayna kama shaqalkeena ma caadi ba dad ba dhimanaya ilaa waa inaan u dabaaldegno oo dhan dadka la dilayo laga joojiyo ma diintiiba it's multifaceted this is multifaceted
once again waa in lagu soo noqdo Soomaalida waxaan dhibaatadeeda iyo ama opinion ha noqoto ama wax kale ha noqoto markasta waxay isku imanaysaa niyahow dad 30 sano without government or failed state garaysa wax kasta ayaad ka filanaysaa ma fahantay Soomaalida laftigeeda marna hala yaabin ma fahantay dad aan dawlad soo korin ma fahantay magarasa school aan soo dhigan waxyaabo badan bilaa dawladda maxaan ku dhahay xamaasaddiin qaadatay wax kastaad ka filan kartaa ma fahantay marka anigu Soomaalida of course cilmu kaa qabanaya waad yaabaysaa dadkan caqliga muftadu ka jira whatever you know laakiin haddana dee saaxib waxa weeye waxa imka Afghanistan joogay miyaad ka filanaysaa inuu wax kasta fahmo oo adduunka la socdo no Somalia wadan bila iyaguna 30 sano without garaysa proper government ma fahantay ama system marka anigu aqoon la'aanta Soomaalida waa mid ma fahantay haddii maanta wadanka yare Horn African leenahay hadduu dhisnaan lahaa fikrado badan ma fahanto waa la isla doodi lahaa sana imka isla doodayna ma fahantay ka muslimka ka gaalka whatever ka atheiska ka wax kasta si free manada ayaa loo wada sheekaysan lahaa laakiin waqtigan dawladaan ma fahantay iyo hawlahan meesha ka jira daraadeed niyahow waxa weeye wixii lagu sheegay cidaad magaraysaa aad u haysatid inay kaa sarreyso ama walaalaha waxay ku sheegaan ma fahantay mana fahmaysid in adduunyada la isku ciyaarayo skills
warun no absolutely marka Tukamadu, we can't hear you anymore. Walalo. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but I cannot hear him anymore.
Can you hear me? Yeah, marka anigu waxyaabo badan baa meeshan inaga soo keentarsamay. Of course, anigu waxaan u haystaa in inagu nahay magaraysa movementkii ugu horeeyay maxaan ku yiraahdaa
si cadaan uga hadlayay malaha si cadaan
ma fahantay of course waxa weeye haddii aad arrinta dood ka qabtid ama aad ka hadli kartid it doesn't mean magaraysaa waxbaad kasoo horjeedaa ama cid baad neceb tahay ma fahantay laakiin reality facts adduunyada waad soo dhigi kartaa ma fahantay
adaan ku weydiiyoyna tuko balan let me get a little bit controversial haddii la isku eego maanta Gaza iyo Muqdisho labada midkeebad odhan lahaydeen is more developed anu waxaan odhan lahaa Gaza is more developed I've seen pictures anu waxaan odhan lahaa Gazadan anu ooyino hade is more developed than Muqdisho
it is jidadka miyaan arag
marka maxay nahayaa
takan la iskuma qarxiyo meesha even handa fiican
Gaza hadaad Muqdisho eegtid anu waxaan isleeyahay adigiyo iga maal badan ayaan ku ooyaya haddana ma nacasnimo waxaas maxaa wali weeyaan miyaan ahayn
Well, of course. Well,
yeah
Kasaba more development than you.
absolutely I wanna welcome Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Welcome bro. How are you?
Yo,
Thomas Jefferson, is that you?
Yeah, bro. You know, assalamu alaikum. You know, welcome everyone. You know, thanks.
How you doing, bro? How you doing? Waan ku bariidade. Adii kale Fircoon baa nagu xanaaqi doonee. Waan ku bariidade.
No, someone told me come in. You know,
ka tacsanaya walaalkay, ka tacsanaya.
عادي.
You know, adiga iyo dalmar ninkan magaca traitorskii Her Majesty ka soo horjeeday buu istaabay war maxaa kala saarnay.
Thomas Jefferson.
What's up?
He's a great guy. Thomas Jefferson is a great guy. So Thomas Jefferson, what are your thoughts, bro? What do you think?
Someone just DM'd me to come in, Mifan. You know, at the end of the day, there's this great video. You know, I was gonna send it to you. You know, you can see it, right?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Let me find it, bro.
Yeah, send it in the back chat, and hopefully it's not too long. But yeah, definitely.
It's like, it's just one dude. He explains about the issue, man. He was like, let me quickly.
Yeah, no, you go ahead. You go ahead and you know, but don't. Thank you. But yeah, it's like you know what I mean. It's so weird. Thank you, Lucky.
Yo, guys.
Lucky. Yeah, little man. What was that, bro?
I was gonna say, like going back to the point of it, like if the shoe was on the other foot, would the world care about Somalia? Like when we was going through the drought, did the world care about Somalia like how we care about Palestine? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't care about Palestine, but I'm saying do we show the same energy? Do they show the same energy to Somalia?
I don't think so, bro. I really don't think so, man. I mean, that's my opinion, though. I don't think we show the same energy whenever it's African issues. You know what I mean? Especially African issues, nobody seems to give a shit. Not even Africans.
No, I mean Palestine. Do they
Palestine? They're only used to. I don't know the way I see it. They're only used to gaining attention. I don't see them ever giving attention, and I don't even think people expect them to go and protest in the streets. Right? I don't know if that they do that. But like there is a question at hand, though. There is a question at hand. Do we publicize the issues the same way they do? Like if we were to somehow find a way to rally the world or the so-called ummah to come to our rescue, whatever we're facing trials and tribulations, maybe. Everything can be done with marketing, bro. This is a marketing tactic, man. That's what I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Like, let me give a layer perspective.
Yeah.
I'll give you a layer how to say it. Hadda wadankan Papua New Guinea ku yaala magaranaysa Australia agtiisa. Wadankan weyne Indonesia militarily magaranaysa militarigiisu more powerful yahay. Raggaasna duurka iskaga jiraan waxaan ku sida loo masaakar gareeyay waxa lagu hayo dad ogaan lahayd. Wadyaab lahayd magaranaysa.
Sax.
They ain't got absolutely no weapons or nothing. Haddana waa waxaan ku ragana militarily baa saa loo laayay laakiin adduunku uu ka sii jeedaa marka inagu carabtana cabid ban weligan waxaanaynaa marka umalemayna weligeed xaggooda inagu question waxa weeyaan goormeen hurdadan ka kacaynaayo horta 70kii baynu khaldanay adduunka wax kasta way isbedeleen 70kiisa goormeen riwaayadan goormeen ka kacaynaa
Well, goorma ka kacaynaa riwaayada? That's a good question. Yeah, but like it's like Lucky said, she said African Muslims don't even care about African Muslims. That's well said. That's funny, but yeah, that's well said. African Muslims don't care about African Muslims. What do you guys think about that? Because it seems like we're going through it. We're going through it when we never really see any kind of people helping us out or anything like that. So what is it? What are we supposed to do with this? You know, it's kind of interesting how we're expected to do certain things because badana waa Somali cid kalaba maaha waa Somali ayaa koodhanaysa warde dadkan wala dilay unax dadka caanka unax you know what I mean? It's kind of like okay, that's kind of like no, I don't think I don't know if you're talking to me, Lucky, but I don't think it's too harsh. I think it's right on point. You know what I mean? So Maimuna said, listening to that Saudi guy on link, I can't help but wish us Somalis were done with the Arabs too. Very good point, May. That's a very good point. And I mean, look, it's not to be done with them, or I'm not dealing with them. We should be looking out for our own interest, right? Not for the ill will of anyone else, but we should be able to look out for our own interests. What do you guys think? Thomas Jefferson, you sent the video, huh?
Yeah, I sent it via message. It's like a screen record, so
okay.
It explains how my views are. You know what I mean? It's like
okay. So let me try and play this. I'm gonna try and play this to see how. Wait a minute. What is this? Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me try and share this. It's a little bit weird the way it looks, but yeah. What is it called anyways? Okay. Share this. Let me see if this works, okay? Are we seeing it? I believe so.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so let's listen to this.
Palestine. Please stop. We are not Arab. We are not Arab. We are African. We are African. How many times I need to please? Shambokola zoba nooga dhimate. Nacala idinku taala. Shambokolo dhalinyara zoba nooga dhimate. Hal Arab oo TV ama social media inuu xusa ma arkin. 20 sano xamar iyo dagaaladii socday. Libiya nagu kufsadeen. Yemen nagu kufsadeen. Asa Arab noo daba ordito. War Arab wax kala ma sheer garana. Arab diintana sheer garana. wax kala Arab nagama dhaxayso. Dhiig nagama dhaxayo. Qabiil nagama dhaxayo. Tan nagama dhaxayo. iga daay Arabtan. Ajanab nacaabta ajama jacaylkan iga joojiya. Arab haddii 3 milyan ka dhimato iyo hal cunug oo Muqdisho iga dhinta kan Muqdisho dhinta ka dhinta iga xanuun badan aniga 3 milyan Arabta waxba igama gelin.
Big ups, man. Big ups.
That's all I can say, bro.
That is very, very well said. And I can actually feel his pain.
Yeah, bro. There was actually
I could actually feel his pain, man.
There was a video where I saw there was this one girl that was on like TikTok. Someone sent it to me, and then she was crying about Palestine. You know what I mean? And it's still, because if you think about it, right, Palestine GDP, right, it's about 16 billion, right? Somali GDP is at 4.9 billion, right? 4.9 billion, right? At the end of the day, Mfante. So who really? It doesn't make sense, because if you think about it, right, all the Arabs, right, all the Muslim world, right, is supporting, you know, Mahalda Palestine. If Somalis don't support it, it's not going to make a big difference, bro. It doesn't make big difference.
That's true. Especially when we need the rallying support behind us.
Correct. So
we need the energy, right? We need that energy.
There's people in Congress, bro, that's actually Talib Rashid, Mahalda AOC, Ilhan Omar. These people are lobbying for Palestine, you know, at the end of the day, right? There's so many lobbyists for Palestine. We cannot deny that. That's actually...
that's one of the things I have with Ilhan Omar. Like, she speaks way too loudly for Palestine, and it kind of makes me think, like, is this coming from a place of, I don't know, maybe she's getting funded? I don't know what it is, but where is it coming from? Like, is it just a religion then? Maybe it's a religion that's actually, you know what I mean? And
nah, I don't think it's a religion, because AOC is doing the same thing right now. She's lobbying for them, because there's a lot of Mufate backing up, bro. So at the end of the day, it's not like me. I disagree. You know, there is some human right violation that's happening in Israel, right? In Palestine, right? We cannot deny that fact, right? But the question is, Muktai, who are we to say, you know, the whole world, right? America was founded, I don't know if you're familiar with the Indian Exclusion Act, right? Where, you know, Andrew Jackson was kicking Native Americans out. And now the West is saying, hey, you know, you can't do this. You know, when we look
at a similar history in Canada as well. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
And if you look at the UN Council, the 5 countries, bro, have committed atrocity in there, and they're telling, the Israel state, they're all, they're all buddies. This is just like a hashtag, 1 month, 2 months, bro. Mark my words, 6 months later, bro, people's gonna forget about this. It happens every once in a while, it happens once in a while.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Virtual Humanoid is very true. True patriot in that video. Salute. You know what the issue is, though, Thomas? Like when Fir'aun and Namr, the thing is, when we hear people speak like that, you can tell he was speaking from the heart, right? He was speaking from the heart. He was like really just kind of like, yo, can we just grow up already? And he was speaking, but that's Somali, but igi donto oran donto astaghfirullah. And that's the crazy thing. Astaghfirullah. You know what I mean? First and last, I don't have the link to the video. How could Thomas Jefferson sent it to me through Facebook? So I'm not sure if there's an actual link Thomas Jefferson can provide it, but I don't have a link to it. But yeah, so other Somalis are gonna be self-regulating. There's a self-regulation that happens with our people where we deny the person their own. The fact that you're saying, no, I'd rather care for Somalis than Palestinian issues, it's kind of like already you're marked. You kind of looked at as someone that's that's insensitive. Anyways, all of these ad hominems are going to be thrown at you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, bro. Basically, the thing is inaga waxaan waxay naga maqan ma garanaysaa filterkii baa meesha ka maqan marka
maxay baa maqan maxay baa naga maqan baa tiri maxay baa naga maqan
filter ma lahayo wax ma garanaysaa kala shaandheeyaba waxay naga maqan classkan dadkii iibiyey sinjiyadoodii hidaheeni iyo dhaqankeeni waxaan dadkan ma garanaysaa so comfortably media kale horteena diracya ku xidhan anu waxaan taaganaynaa inaan dadkan we have to come up solution dadkan ragga diracyada xidhan lahayn si loo ridiculous gareeyo beri hore naguna waa idiin sheegay these people are way too comfortable ma garanaysaa inay waxaan saa u yidhaahaan somehow dadkan weyn ma garanaysaa realityga loo hortaabto qof kastoo Soomaaliyeed aragtid waxa aaminsan toos loogu sheego ma garanaysaa hadda dhibaatadu wuxuu ka jiraa wasaad sheegaysay Ilhaan Cumar iyo Western World is not actually helping us the case kan inaga ma garanaysaa dadkan progressive care rabade inaan islamification kan iyo waxaan iska qabano hadda tan tusaale yar ka soo new nomado hadda wadankan aan joogo maalin dhaweyto was it like last week it fucking pisses me off, bro. You know what they did? They like football association ka footballka wadankan wuxuu sameeyey habli inan yaroo Soomaaliyeed baa lagu soo sawiray magazine-ka marka waxay sameeyeen these things waxay qaybinayaan free hijabs, free Nike hijabs.
Oh wow.
I'm like thinking, god damn it, what's happening out here? Ma garanaysaa sheekadu way ka sii kacday dan Soomaaliyeed baa soo qorqorayaan we wish to play anago beri baan rabnay inaan kubadda ciyaarno and this and that. I'm like, this is ma garanaysaa football federation kana waa full of left wings ba ka buuxa wala they have no idea inay raggan islamiskan ma garanaysaa diracyada xidhan leh agendada gooniga wadada temporary alliance ku jiraan
sax
beri qorta loo dheereynayo iyaga iyo LGBT movements kii waxooda ma garanaysaa ma oga marka sheekadan meelo badan bay ka qarsan tahay ma garanaysaa marka waxay u baahan tahay counter revolution in la sameeyo marka waxaan kula talinayaa beejajka iyo meelaha ay dadkan diraclayaashu ku jiraan gala oo ma garanaysaa Somali podcast waxay siiyo nabiga soo yaracayo ka soo xaraabaysta we have to do
Ramadaankii uu dhamaaday ma shawaadintii la soo sii daayay
si fiican u sii daayay
aniga qofisay
waxay ka qorsliyay ma garanaysaa
libaax bay idhi waa imanaya libaaxo we can't wait to have you on, bro. Come on up man. Igu qosliyo wuxuu yidhi waa Fir'aun and with his weekly kirbash of the reer dirac.
Definitely waa therapeutic for Fir'aun.
ma warta weyn anigu waxaan isii ma garanaysaa in maxaa ku raadayay Fir'aun oo wala laade waxaan isii anigu waxa weeyaan hada waxaan adaanu sidii aqliyana uga hadli weyno dadkeena Soomaaliyeed isku iman weyno oo dhan wararta hada siflabooda aan noqonin hada waxa Palestine dhulka ka dhacaya hada waliga kamid ma dahayn waliga kama qayb qaadan
Well, I'm new numbers from Korea. We need to print out some T-shirts where we have to be aggravated. That can you know what I mean?
But to
Which
add to
is
that,
ما هو إذا ما لا تري على القدس
and to add to that, bro, these issues, like it's funny that it's funny people are complaining about international law and human rights violation when it happens in Somalia too. So
that's true.
How are you?
That's true, man.
How are you using international law to validate what's the word I can use, the sanctity of
The
Jerusalem?
sanctity, yeah.
You know what I mean? How can you how can people in Somalia protest about burning the Israel flag, but they're not burning the Al-Shabaab flag? They're not burning.
I know how you Thomas Jefferson, you know what I said, man? A great business proposition would be to sell Israeli flags in Palestine. You would be that's an amazing business because you're gonna have returning customers, man. They burn it all the time. They burn these flags, man. Okay, you're gonna have a steady returning customer base, I think.
And if you check, these people that they post content about it, right?
Yeah.
They're making money off this, people crying, oh, Hannah died, bro.
Yo, that's so true, man. That's because there's a whole aspect of social media marketing that's attached to this. You're absolutely right.
So these people, bro, it's funny that Western diaspora people are going Twitter beef, they beefing over this, Jews and making videos about crying over it. They're getting money for this. They're getting ad revenue for this.
Right.
So when they talk about these issues, it's a financial gain about it. It's just right marketing. And to add on top of that, when they go to Palestinian protests, bro, this is a mini turn up. Have you seen the videos? It's just straight up turning up. They singing, turning up, burning shit. It's just a turn up.
Do you think okay, so do you think it's and I'm gonna be a little bit rude here, but do you think it's what do you call it? Virtue signaling? Do you think it's emotional masturbation at this point? Do you think that
people are emotional manipulating? That's what it is.
That's kind of what it is, man. Because you're going to this place without knowing fully the history, but also having this energy that you're being energized from another place, and I like to call that the Arabic battery pack on their back, right?
Same with the South Africa. Same with the Western Jews. They use them as propaganda. Look at this Adam, dude. Look at this Jew. He's supporting the cause. He says free Palestine. He's anti-Zionist, bro. These people are making clout and money off it. You know what I mean? They use him as propaganda. It's the same when they say, he's Gal and he's supporting us, blah blah. At the end of the day, bro, these people are just making money. It's marketing strategy 101. If you know,
I'm not gonna lie to you, Thomas Jefferson and Fir'aun and Delman. I don't know if you guys remember. There's a Jewish intellectual called Noam Chomsky, and even Magisi Finkelstein. Oh man, what was his name? Norm Finkelstein. Anyways, there was Jews that were against Israel in the conflict, right? And the way Muslims kind of parade those people around, they parade them around and say, "See, we even have these Jewish people on our side," and it becomes a tribalistic thing. Their side against our side, and so on and so forth. And people get lost in this because there's so much shit that that is historically there that not a lot of people take the time to actually dig up and actually learn about it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that kind of messes with me. And like what Pearl said, is I hope Palestinians get their freedom here. But seeing Somalis in Mogadishu protest to free Palestine made me laugh. It is laughable, isn't it?
It's irony, man.
It is laughable, bro. It's definitely laughable. You know what I mean?
Why are you not protesting about the MPs that spend millions of dollars, bro? Why don't you about these terrorist group in your own home country?
I'm done. I'm dead.
See the people that actually wear military uniform and they say, "Hey, we're gonna go jihad for," bro. This is all Mufante talking. These people are just trying to make content. Just watch Mufante. It's the same individuals, right? Whenever something is popping, they get on the bandwagon. You seen fucking some of the Palestinians, but well, I gotta give it to them. They smart, right? They even used Mufante, George Floyd, and the Black Lives Movement. They said, "Hey, Palestine cannot read since 1948," some shit like that, right? But there was a Palestinian dude on Cub Foods who called the police on George Floyd, who owned it. I don't get it, bro.
A lot of times there's a misinformation that's out there and people just run with it, right? And that's what's happening a lot of times. This was happening, right? And we're just getting rallied up behind these issues. The other thing is also is that a little bit of history. The word Palestine itself literally means conquerors. And this is actually something that I found out, and it's a Jewish word. It's a Hebrew word that kind of came from the Philistines in Crete, and they were invaders, so they would invade, and this was the word that was given to the Romans when they invaded. So it's actually a Hebrew word, right? And right now they're calling themselves Palestinian, but the Palestinian was not a thing. It was just Arabs in that land, right? Now the Jews, like what Little Man was saying earlier, they had a whole temple there, and they had their book says that they're the chosen people, yada yada yada, which is kind of funny, but I mean it is what it is. But now the Christianity hopped on it, and now Islam hopped on it as well. So the religiosity of that little piece of land called Jerusalem had it. It's so mind-boggling. You understand what I'm saying? That some people just lose their shit whenever it's brought up, whenever they're thinking about it. And that's the thing that I'm trying to kind of separate Somalis to kind of say, that's shitty what's happening over there. But like, look in your backyard, look at your people, look at the state of your people today. Why is it so hard not to see that?
Somalis, bro, will ride for any cause except their own cause, bro. And you're gonna be like, what do you mean like that, bro? You know, sometimes, you know, I'm Halda Nomad. I get bored, you know, and then I go through Instagram, you know, I go to my feed and I see the people, you know, that post about Halda, BLM, all these issues, right? And then I'm looking at them like, bro, these people never post about Somali issue once, you know what I mean?
That's it.
Because if you think about it, bro, if you don't fight for yourself, who's gonna fight for you? You know what I mean? First, it has to come from there because these Palestinians, you know, they give me a sec.
No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, I'm
But you're absolutely right.
yeah.
That's Somali. Yeah, there's no one helping you out. Yeah.
You gotta look at yourself first and say, hey, bro, I was watching one video on YouTube the other day. It was called why Somalia failed state, right? Went through the comments, someone said, hey, these people are from the same math. Even the Ajnabis, you know, the non-Somali people, they're like, hey, these people are homogeneous, one language, one religion, one one country. Why they're not living together? It's so mind-boggling, you know. When like I live in the West, bro, I cannot know Mokte what someone else's tribe. There's no definitive way of telling it, you know. There's no definitive way of telling, hey, this person looked out, this person looks. There's no. We come in all different shade and color from different, you know, like there's no way of telling it. So what's the issue of us, you know, fighting for our own causes, for our own things, you know? It's not me being saying, I'm saying, okay, yes, I get it, you know, what's happening in Palestine is wrong, but what can I do as a third world country who doesn't have a state, who doesn't have a country? What can I do? You think the Turks, the same people that sold, you know, Palestine, the Ottoman Empire, is the same people that sold it to the British. So right now, Aragon is saying, hey, what's going on is injustice. None of these politicians care, bro. It's just a ride for them. They just want to fight for an issue. Or even the Western, in fact, you got to take a side. You either pro this, pro that, pro. You don't have to be pro nothing. You can be in the middle and say, you know what?
Right.
It's none of my business. One, I'm not close to Palestine. Palestine is not near my country. It's all the way over the sea. Oroma and Tigray genocide is more closer to my home. You know what I mean?
That's true. That is very true. That's our backyard. That's literally our backyard.
But do Somalis care about it? They're like, oh,
no. It's true. But look, but the thing is, okay, so here's the thing. I kind of want to calibrate, like today's conversation, I really want to calibrate Thomas Far'ani Dalman. I wanted to really make sure that what we're saying is not anti-Israeli. It's not anti-Palestinian, nor is it really for Palestinian or for Israeli. What I'm saying is, on this platform, what I really want to push is to be pro-Somali, to be Somali first, to be Somali second, and to be Somali third. And a lot of times what I realize is that this has been, we don't even see that power within ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? So low income finance, when you ask why should we care about Palestine at all, I think personally, I'm not going to speak for anyone else, but I think personally, when you see kids getting bombed, it does something to me. I feel some type of way about it. Now, the history behind it and how that came up, and when you then say, oh, this kid, his father or his people used him as a shield, then I feel some type of way about the people. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that convoluted. Like, we can have this conversation. Now, when I was doing this topic, a lot of people were saying, "Ooh, this is a sensitive topic," but we should not be shying away from having these conversations. I don't think, personally. I don't think we should be shying away from having these card conversations because, Fir'aun, I want to ask you a question, Walalo.
Go on, son.
You know, maxaa kula Soomaalidu marka laga hadlo BLM, like the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
Markay u dabaaldegeen qaar ba dad baa weydiiyey, why would we have a problem with Somalis going and going to march for Palestine, but we don't have a problem with Somalis go and march for BLM? What would you say to that, Frank?
Excellent question, bro. You know, that's magaranaysa qofka hadda dadka sida su'aasha ku weydiinaya ama sida aaminsan waxa weeyaan definition waxaan la dagaalamayno dadkan jaareednimada carbeed ogolaaday qofka rinjigiisa ama sinjigan madownimadiisii nacay waxa weeyaan waa qofkan kule maxaad qofka wala madoowe adiga ku eegay magaranaysa officer Murphy ninka cadib dhakada ka tooganayo magaranaysa you don't care Nigerian by times Eritrean by times Somali, you're just a Negro to him. So marka qofkan confused stage ka ku jira amsa Europe jooga ama North America jooga u fakaraya jaareednimada carbeed 2-3 generations lagu soo breed gareeyay hadda sheekadu waxay maraysaa new number we are breeding magaranaysa maxaa la yiraahdaa jaariyado dad u jaariyadaban ayaan breed gareynaynaa oo ay ka mid yihiin raggan diracyada xidhan iyo dadkan magaranaysa umu la baxayay umadan wala confused ka marka definition keena
la baxay
marka magaranaysa Somalis ka magaranaysa hadda inankii hadlayay muxuu ahaa Thomas Jefferson excellent point buu taabtay hadda qaaradeenan magaranaysa barhona waan idin sheegin qaaradan hadda magaranaysa Soomaaliya Arab nation kan horta weynaan marka hore ka baxno number 1 number 2 gan aniga the little things that really piss me off how Google Maps baad furaysaa magaalo kasta far carbeed baad dul saaran raggan Ethiopia inagu dhowee waliba specifically Oromada and hide almost second cousins iyaga uguma taalo magaranaysa marka inaga iyo Djibouti waxa inagu daray dulkan carbeed ee confuse keena geliyay waa madness moogtahay marka waxaan waxa weeyaan 40 years baynu ka haynaa absolutely nothing or just confusion stage in la geliyay aan su'aalaha isweydiinayno macarab baynu nahayo maxaan dadka madow ugu doodaynaayo waxaan oo dhan waxa weeyaan hay isweydiinay quds sidii hooyada leedahay u barooro you know what I mean isma weydiinaya dadkan waayo parents-kaagii ma garanaysaa life savings-keedii 10,000 ugu baxaysaa box euro desertka yaala
وارن تاسنا مثل حشكه
يعني I told my parents straight like my mom was 7 years baby say like حشكه I was like nah mom I love you to death yeah but I ain't gonna take you to Saudi Arabia hadan meel ku qaxayna Egypt ban tagaynaa Sudan bas dhexmarayna Ethiopia tagaynaa halka Nile Valley civilization halkaas ay la fahmi ku aasan yihiin
halkaas la fahmi ku warun aad
marka as long as ay horta magaranaysa sidii China and inagu Somalis ka waxaan taaganahay hadda qabiil iyo waxaan ku wareegaysanaa laakiin definitionally we need inaan horta kun class kan laga takhasuso magaranaysa we have to clean them out house cleaning when bas ka dhacdo
waa sidii tukaha madow lahaay wuxuu lahaa dagaal baan lagu hayaaye intaan u aragno maaha waxaan si kale waanaan waxaan aragno laakiin
new nomad hadda saddexdii nin iyo intii nin dhageysanaysa walaalada aaminsan Somali first day magaranaysa aaminsan inay nagu nahay haddii enemy within inagu dhex jiro nin afar intii nin sumaynaya oo masterkay naga iibinaya big massa marka ain't gonna work out you know what I mean
it's not no absolutely you're right
we have to go
that's absolutely true Walalo that's absolutely true. But like in low income finance said, he said, I do not support Palestine because I am not an Arab. I support BLM because I am black. And I think that's a good point. Adan mata qurbaha jogo to also BLM, let's say, and there's a lot of things I don't agree with.
Yo, is it my internet or you guys on?
Yeah, we're on. We can hear you, Thomas Jefferson. What's up, brother? Why were you not hearing us? Maybe he's got a problem.
Is Dalmar online, man? Dalmar's been quiet for a while.
Yeah. No, he's coming back. He told me he's coming right back.
Okay.
He's coming right back. How old are you? Yeah, Thomas Jefferson, we could hear you, bro. I don't know if you can hear us, but
Nah,
we can hear.
here you guys continue.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, as for example, I live in Canada, right? The way black people are treated, how could I affects me directly because lugumo weydiniyo ma Somali ba tahay ma maxay ba tahay ma lugumo weydiniyo. The way black people are treated, and adanu halgamayo ambaan how could I utagayo, and I just want to give a disclaimer. I do not agree with everything BLM says, and I'm not even okay with the movement as a whole. But that's a whole other thing. But I did law how could the in civil rights or muduga, it concerns me more than Palestine because this has a direct effect on me and my people here. I know Joga Hakam. So man, this kind of movement wouldn't even make sense in Adan Jognin against Africa. Like Adan Joga Matam Hakada Gurbaha and Jogo. It makes sense to me. So I understand what low income finance is saying. I support BLM because I am black. I do not support Palestine because I am not Arab. It's very simple, and I think I commend you for that, low income. That's a very good point. What do you think, Thomas Jefferson? What would you say to people that say, why are you not you're not supporting Palestine as a Somali, but then you go ahead and support BLM?
Brother Mahalda, the issue Mufante is simple, Mokte. If you want me to hashtag, bro, it's one tweet away from me. It's not a big deal, Mokte. The question is, Mokte, where is my finance, bro? Going to a protest, Mufante, it's not a big deal, Mokte. I can do it. I can virtual sing, oh, I'm with you, blah blah blah. Oh, free palette, bro. It's not a big deal, at the end of the day. The question is, Mokte, we gotta be smart. If we're gonna play this game, Mokte, we can do the talk, Mokte, but when it comes to walk, let's put it into Somali. You know what I mean? When you donating money, you can go from how to say free Palestine. Because at the end of the day, Mokte, you gotta think, Mokte, if you're gonna play the Muslim card, the black card, any card, right? It benefits you. It benefits you as an individual, Mokte. If you trying to have to say, you saying, okay, I'm for the Palestine, for the Arab, whatever, right? Virtual saying, I'm for it, Mokte. But you take your own money, Mokte, and you're giving to Palestine, and you do donating it to a masajid and say, oh, free Palestine, free this, bro. I went to a private school, Mokte, a Muslim school, Mokte, and they were supposed to like go to protest and these issues, bro. I never cared. They were raising money since I was a kid, and you're gonna say, yo, where does the money go? Where does all the money go? You gotta know, where does your finance go? Hadda, right now, if I'm have to put my money and think about your money as a plant, Mokte, where do I want to plant my seeds, my money? I want to plant it in Somali. You're gonna be, why am I gonna plant it in Somali? Because I might go there, I might live there. What the KY people that look like me? If I'm in the streets, Mokte, you think these Arabs are kind of, oh, akhi, salam alaikum. Oh, yeah, Somali, Somali. That's it, bro. But these niggas don't. These people
Maybe
really,
they like that though. Maybe that's kind of something they like. I don't know. Yeah, my
like he's definitely right. Thomas
He's so right.
Actually, some Arabs come they get mid Moroccan bust up and swag. Then brother was to me like Salam alaikum. Then I just stare at him. Yeah. Then he repeated himself, Salam alaikum. And I was like, wait, where you on? Then he was like, you don't understand Salam alaikum. I was like, am I supposed to understand that? Like, that can magaranaysa arrogance ko.
Fir'aun having issues at the bus stop. That's crazy, man.
You know what? No matter, because these people, anigi halagaya when first were Somali kofu egg or magaranaysa that dealt with them like straight away.
Like that. Yeah, that's so true.
Like
that is so true.
900 kala soo arkayo de wala bootli kara. Magaranaysa.
Mahalda, my bad, bro. You saw what our supreme leader, actually my supreme leader, Haji Abdullah posted on Hi Columbus, bro. He posted a Somali girl. She went to a halal store. The Somali people came. They beat them up. These Arabs, bro. They won. They benefit from us, and you're gonna be like, yo, Nomad, how do they benefit from us in the West, bro? I've been to Minnesota. I've been to Minneapolis. I've been to Seattle.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
They have halal stores owned by Arabs. You're buying their meat. Halal way. We're supporting these people, but we're not supporting halal Somali owned business. It's a very insecurity matter, complex. Some Somalis have. There will be anything. It's the same Somali people say, yo, I'm mixed with this and this. Somali. It's just a well-known thing. How, bro? There's this girl, she was on TikTok. She was saying, since 18, I seen Palestine, and no one is protesting about it. Oh, bro, I'm 23 right now. Since I don't have a wadan done, I never had a wadan done in the last 10 years. Mokta wadan mason.
That's
So
it.
but I had nowhere to go to.
Right.
I'm a byproduct of a civil war, Mafanti. I've
صح.
been exiled out of my own country. So you
Mhm.
up here and you crying about Mafanti, what's it called? Palestinian issue. When people like Ilan Harris, you from Canada, and Nahel Alan, right, went back
Yeah.
to home, tried to build it. What happened? Bro? And you want
That's
to
it.
talk about, yeah, these people are sick. Why are you not protesting about these Al Shabaab that kill people that try to go back home and fix our issues? You see, I'm telling you, bro, it's a sickness. Endless. Yo,
Ah.
Palestine, I'm gonna say, "Akhi, I'm gonna make dua for you. Inshallah, may Allah help you. I'm not gonna do more than that.
That's it.
Bro,
That's
like,
it.
like you are like speaking of facts here. The other thing what Mgranus had you see Thomas Jefferson, like had the so many good people on no bahanayn and statues or something. No, Saad
Ah.
Ali had the
Saada Ali ay baan
so
naxariistay
many
ha.
legendary artists by naga dhintay.
Ah.
Laakiin inaga waxaan ku leeyahay hadda magaaladeennii baa hadda capitalkii baa lagu leeyahay Makal Mukarrama, the biggest road in Mogadishu. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Dadkeennan ma garanaysaa we are programmed to this Arabian ma garanaysaa waxaana gebigeenu makuun classkan si waalan bay noo wadaan marka
waan u qoodnay laakiin fircoon walaalo waan u qoodnay waa waxa u qoodnay weeyaan it's not something that just happened accidentally. We had to do the agreement. We agreed to it. You understand? So how can someone come markaste? Honestly, that's and like go ahead.
Mentally enslaved and I'm fat for hours, bro. Bro, what do you mean, bro? I've been to Maghais Mokte. When an Arab person come in Mokte, oh Akhi, Salam alaikum, these people switch the language, brother. Why should I speak in the language? I don't know what the Somali. Why am I speaking?
See the Fir'aun baa lagu noqdaa when he's at the when he's talking to that Moroccan guy.
Like basically, it was like middle of the day, yeah. This random person up bust up kula taagan. It's like into like 2-3 minutes away from me. He's like, Salam alaikum. I'm like, Sasano egg. And I hate that because Somali and Kat, but Salam alaikum, your family members. This guy's like, Salam alaikum. I was just staring at him. Then he repeated himself. Then he was like, oh, you don't understand Salam alaikum? I was like, I get lost my good news. Like, waxaan
waxaa ku tiraahdaa next time waxaa ku tiraahdaa headlayna fircauno mid baa cagka igu yidhi anigoo head waxaa ku yidhi waa garanaysaa iska waran ma ku yidhi markaas oh you don't understand what iska waran means
right. We should like hadda ma garanaysaa suu inuu ku sheegay Thomas Jefferson mukhaayad baad gelaysaa Soomaaliyeed la wala daawanayo ma garanaysaa there's like 30 people sitting in mukhaayad Al Jazeera baa la iska daawanaya hadda single Arab person ma fadhiyo 30 people kind of laga yaabaa inuu mid kaliya Arabi kaga hadlo marka there's too many of these schools everywhere bro when a movement samayno on dadkan wadanka ay nooga baxaaniyo
marka eeg waxaan the very
to Berbera everybody containers ka galeen iyaga iyo dharkooda carwadba aasha carbeed you love the Gulf countries oo maha aasha carbeed ba ku haya you in love with this man's balls go for it. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Brother, you seen Fir'aun, you're gonna die on this one. This one kill.
It's hilarious.
This one gonna kill me if you go on Twitter Mokte and you know the ex-Prime Minister Khair Mokte, you go to his following, he follows one person and then he has a whole another Twitter account just in Arabic.
Think about it. Well, you're definitely like, and you can even see it. Have you seen it like the Somalia, like the political papers? They're gonna write like a whole paragraph of Somali letters, then little bit by Arabic dina laga saaraya. Passport kina was same thing. Saddex afar ku qoran. Like hadda meeshan xaggan aan ka soo jeego area-dan aan ka soo jeedo Qoyslanta. These idiots kama garanaysa they used to have a car registration plate kama garanaysa do you know about Hargeysa?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
They just removed it, you know. It's like a month ago they just removed it.
Oh, they removed it.
Yeah, I was like,
well, that's good. That's good if that's happening. I know how can you say Somaliland and have Arabic on the flag? I think personally, it bothers me personally. You know, it's crazy, but at the end of the day, you know, we agree to this. We've agreed to this, and I just want to take a second and say, Anugu Milihi Arab Naib. waxaan leeyahay Somali jacayl. Somali, there's a big difference. I'm not saying na'as in Arabta. That's not at least where I'm standing. I'm standing Somali the jacalada. And I think there's a gap that where Somali maxaa ku daayay in yagiban is jaclayn. And that's the problem. Yagiban is jaclayn, yagiban is loobin. Is ilowsan. So what do you think about that? Ma waxaan in markastaan historygeena ka hadlayno markastaan maxaan ku hadlayn Somalidii marka you know there's a thing called know thyself. Fircoon waa garanaysaa know thyself.
Definitely.
To know thyself, head, it's not for any other reason than to actually do better. Markaad garanaysid meesha ka soo jeedid, markaad garanaysid xagga u socod, you are calm in your thinking. You take the right steps and the proper steps to do things that are good for you. So maha. Laakiin haddii aan Soomaalidii historygoogii marka la baabiyey historygoogii lagu xidhay historyga Carabta marka wax kastoo Caraba ku dhaca ay u arkaan wax aragto Soomaha yagii afagaranaya directly oo diinta loo soo maray leeyne then I understand waxaan ay la gubanayaan. The amount of times in my family in WhatsApp groups ana deerada ku leeyahay okay blue catch why do we care about hakada waxaan in Palestine ka dhacay eeg waxaan maanta ka dhacay in qarxisa ka dhacay maasha maanta Muqdisho ka dhacay eeg waxaan no this is al-aqsa wal goranaya mid baan ku yiri anigu war ilaahay adad ilaahay uu quwad weyn yahay hada anaba ka believe gareysa ma noqonaya waayo ilaahay if he can't even adanu difaaci kareyn masjidkiisa hada ma adoo 9 bilood ku dhashay ayaa difaaci doona. Like let's just be honest here.
Yeah. 100%.
Are you saying God Almighty cannot defend the mosque from some Israel? If that's what you're saying, so it doesn't make sense. Do we need people on the ground to defend this? Why does it have to be militaristic? markaas mid ku yidhi asxaabna ku yidhi ha war al-aqsa aduu ilaahay gaa dhacsan yahay ilaahay baa ina difaaci doone. Why do we care about that? Markaas astaghfirullah, how can you say things like that? Now I'm saying he activated his Arabness. You activate it, you understand? Marka qofka ilaha liqa Soomaaliya ma buu haynba. Wa saaxiibkay waa Somali, laakiin Arab buu noqday real quick just to yeah. So lacaga la siiyo maxaa ku rahdaaye in Palestine oo kale. Lacaga UN to ay siiso. Iyo lacaga la siiyo in Soomaaliya oo dhan. Ma la sagdi karaya. Anigu go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I need no nomad. For on I'm just gonna say, Martha, these people, if I'm gonna say it again, where you see when they go on internet or Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and they pro TikTok, brother. I support my Somali brother or many. You wanna cry, if you cry for Palestine, use for me, brother. Congratulations, Fenty. I can't hear it.
That's funny. Yeah. At least get something out of it, Balele. At least get something out of it. Yeah.
And these people are virtually singing. They're crying for it. And when you look at their views, it's like 1 million. And that's always 1 million views. And they can't listen for Palestine. Brother, I support your cause. Like that you make from them, send it to Somalia.
That is so true.
Smart. Play it smart. These people how do Yehud come out that? Bro, what has Yehud done to me? What have my Yehud kunaba? They did absolutely nothing to me. And
you want me to make you laugh, Thomas? Let me make you laugh. I think you're Fir'aun. One day I sent it was text messages or whatever, and I was in this group, all right, Somalia and all that. But I sent them the flag of Israel and the flag of Somalia, and I said same colors. I don't think it's a coincidence. Because
you had I can't go and have the coins like I'm from the north side. I'm like you destroy the the most beautiful government and the most unique flag South district flag also got there. Being was like, you know what I mean, bro?
That is a very good point, Neho.
That's like he has to do with Magaranesa. I just mean about how can you make yourself contour with them, but Muslim majority countries are. none of them have the magaranaysaa Texan Saudi district flag and shahaadadii baa calanka lagu qoranaya like wadankaagii baad baabiisay askar soldierkaagii baad laysoo
yeah, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. You're absolutely right.
Have you,
yeah.
Man, you ever heard of the theory? I forgot the name of it, Mokte. For example, if you don't fit in a certain criteria, right, and you don't make it, Mokte, you got to work harder. And you're going to be, for example, Mokte, you're going to see the perfect thing I can think on top of my head, Mokte, is biracial kids, Mokte. The actual class is white, right? They do to become black, right, and super, right? You can apply the same concept and say, you know what? The Somalis have no connection to these Arabs, Mokte, and they're not the same people. So how about we got to do above and beyond to fit in with them? Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we do though. We do. But at the end of the day, though, it is something that we've forgotten ourselves, and I think that's what I always kind of go back to is if we got to know ourselves and who we are and took pride in our Somalinimo, we wouldn't have this void that we feel the need to fill all the time. You understand what I'm saying? I think that's kind of how I look at it. I always think it's a void that we're trying to fill by how could I trying to be Arab. But at the end of the day, that also comes from the religion, right? The religion is Arabization. With the religion comes Arabization. I don't care what anybody says, that's what the religion of Islam does. It's Arabization, and that's fine. That's what it was meant for. But like in markaas waa lagu diiday waxa goranay no in Arab diintani Arab waxa kuma laha shaqo kuma laha lagu diinti dadkan ay u dagaaltamayaan like the Palestinians. The Palestinians have Muslim Palestinians and Christian Palestinians laftigoogi. You understand? marka hargeysa la yiraahdo in waxa laga dhisaya kaniisada Somali Masiixiya jirana, everybody's losing their shit because they don't want that. Somalis they don't want to accept anything outside of Somali Muslim, right? Even though the people that they're fighting for have accepted that there's differences of religiosity. That's always kind of makes me giggle a little bit. What do you guys think? And also, I wanted to address Coco Jasmine's point. She said, can we talk about Islamic slavery at some point? This topic is not taken seriously. I couldn't agree with you more, Coco Jasmine. That is an amazing topic, and I will take notes. And yeah, thank you, Lucky. I think I'm going to take note. And if ever you guys, by the way, I just want to give a disclaimer. If ever you guys have a topic that you want to discuss or something that you feel doesn't get enough highlight or that you would like to see us discuss on the panel, please don't feel free. Kind of put it up on the comments, and I'll take notes. Okay. So yeah. So what do you think, Fir'auni Thomas?
Well, basically, أنا waxay iga yaabisay ma garanaysaa aniga aan la yaaba kale waxa weeyaan dadkan adduunyadan kale if something aad adduunka ma garanaysaa waxaad rabtay haddaad weydid oo one strategy kaaga hor yimaado aad aragtid inaanay this is not your game plan kaagi usually dadka maskaxda waxa way ka tagaan oo si kale u fakeraan. These Arab people have actually showed us that inaan agtooda cabadun ka nahay. magaranaysaa so many cases ama Yemen aan eegno ama Libya aan eegno ama magaranaysaa so many cases magaranaysaa waynu aragnay Europe iyo North America dadkan say noola dhaqmaan how they look down on us.
صح.
laakiin wixii waxa weeyaan markaad ninba joke baa beri tuugtay wuxuu yiri how can you tell a woman that's got magaranaysaa two black eyes wuxuu ma sheegi karaysid magaranaysaa. Yeah,
that's so misogynistic, man. Okay.
I don't mean to sound magaranaysaa why see the joke, but like inaga markaa waxayna raggan cabeed oo kale waxaan nahay gabadha labada gacmood labada indhood.
That's a good comparison actually. Okay.
Yeah. Abused relationship ban kula jirnaa dadkan marka mentally waa soo sheegaysa wayna haystaan waana soo sheegaysa markaad ku tiraahidniyo warniyo waxaan sheekad diin ka badane ninkan magaciisa baad sidataayo waxay la baxayaan xitaa odayaashii ma garanaysaa Nabi Maxamed ka hor intaanu dhalan ka hor Quraysh hubal caabudi jiray ay caruurahooda loo bixinaya magacyadooda
waxa qosla hubal inaku naga yimid waxa geesta Afrika yimid weeyaan wixii ay niko sameynay they repackaged it and sold it back to us, bro. That's what happened. Ajiba waxa dirta soo dhaweeyo Black Swordsman, is that you?
Yes.
How are you? You good?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Oh, great, man. Can't complain. We're just having this conversation because it's current affairs, right? It's in the news, and it's been in the news, I think, for as long as I can remember news, right? Honestly. So it's always in the news. But what I want to talk about and tackle is the Somali perspective. So let me ask you guys a question. How should Somalis view this conflict? Right? How should they view this conflict? I mean, well, what do you guys think? What is the proper way of approaching this Middle Eastern conflict? Black Swordsman, since you're new to the panel, maybe you want to give it a go?
Yeah, of course. Personally, I'm pretty neutral, so I would say I support the two-state solution. So for me, I would want to have Israel stop attacking, I guess, and just both sides, I guess, staying in their lane.
Okay.
So I guess, yeah, but like going so crazy for Palestine and all of this bullshit isn't me.
Have you noticed that Somalis get super emotional about this topic?
Yes, I even seen a TikTok of a girl crying her eyes out, and then in the comments, some Somali people were saying, "Oh, why won't you cry for your own people?" Blah 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 blah. And then she's like, "I don't care about Somali people." Blah 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 blah. Like,
she said, "I don't care about Somali people," and she's Somali.
Yeah, it's really like it's some real coon shit.
That's crazy though. But you know what though? When I hear those, because I've seen those comments as well, where other Somalis. So I've seen other Somalis kind of say, "Hey, why aren't you crying for Somalia?" Or what? I've seen those comments as well. So I don't want to make it seem like it's all one-sided. You know what I mean?
Well, definitely, you're right. It's not all-sided. Like in way, and there's still like 9 out of the 1 out of 10 way.
True.
Nine niggas are coons. The riwayat and still see what they own. Big movements went too. We just have to do it more and more. I know in a unity no. Just keep checking up your people any chance you get, because you go markay ku arkaan riwaayadan carbeed darabeen ay ka iibiyaan marka haanu qaatay idinkuna markasta aragtaan qofka loo Soomaaliya, just check him, constantly check him, like, hey, what's up with you? waxaad ka sheekeynaysaa yaad u barooranaysaa qudus ma hooyadaa baa leh, what the heck, like
qudus ma hooyadaa baa leh. Yo, that's a great t-shirt, man. That's a great t-shirt right there.
These t-shirts are like constantly arrintan, as long as an inagu more ridiculous ka samayno, more jokes ka samayno, more comedy ka samayno, the more we ridicule this thing, the more people are gonna wake up. Like, if we keep silence ka magaranaysaa, they think
ما عمي خلاص هذا كدب لما عم مسكر يفرعونه هذا كدب أفكي وأنا عنايا. We cannot stay silent anymore, man, because we have the means to be able to talk to each other as Somalis and actually get our ideas across the world right now. You don't understand, like, a lot of people actually reach out to me and they're like, I love that you guys are having these conversations because we can't. Some people are to even have their voices heard. You understand what I'm saying?
Definitely.
This is
Definitely, we have to do it because it's like Black Swordsman no failure of a parents. It's like I cannot even describe such a parents.
Somali or Palestine. It's weird.
And you know what's the best the best argument? Oh, Somali, how Somali they cause this on their no, brother. You know, Somali, there's some international interference. There's some Arab interference.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you know, we need to be woke. We need to be woke.
Definitely woke. Yeah, we need to wake up. We need to wake up to this.
You know, even in their own ideology, you can say, hey, okay, it's a building, right? You know, from your own book, are you gonna put a building precedes over Allah? You know, a building can get destroyed or not. It can be a holy place. There's a holy place idea, you know. There's no ayat, there's no nothing which says, hey, you gotta go defend Aqsa, you gotta go defend a building. Where is the ayat?
Right.
What is it, bro? I didn't tell them you're doing when you're fighting over a building.
That's it.
Because Allah is, what did they say? When Nabi Muhammad was when he was facing Jerusalem, Allah told him, hey, don't face that way. East, west, it doesn't matter where you face. So use your own ideology. Allah's all powerful. You know, building you know, why are you guys fighting over a goddamn building? You know, at the end of the day, this is a land dispute between the Jews and the Palestinians, and the Palestinians are making it a religion issue. They make it a religious issue.
They're making it a religious issue to actually be able to garner the activate the Ummah card.
Yeah,
right? They're
that's
activating the Ummah card,
that's
right?
there's
That's
no
what they're, yeah. But nobody ever talks about the Palestinians that are not part of the Ummah.
yeah. No,
That's
the
what
Christians.
makes me laugh, nigga. There's
There's some
Palestinians
Palestinian
that are
Jews, you know,
not part of the
there's
Ummah.
Arab Jews. These people, they're saying, oh, Yudwan. There's some anti-Semitic going on there. Yudwan. There's a lot of anti-Semitism in the Somali community. There's some, you know, there's Arab Jews.
That's
You
it.
know, they don't
That's
know
it.
that. These people
No,
are
that is, you are so absolutely true, man. Libah, is that you, bro? Libah is in the building.
Yeah, that's me, brother.
What's
Peace
going
to you
on,
all.
King?
Peace to you all. And Salam alaikum to Fir'aun. Salam alaikum to Fir'aun.
Why you gotta do that, man? Why you gotta do that, Libah? You're such a troll, man.
Dir'a gang, Dir'a gang.
Dir'a gang. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, Libah? What do you think of the conversations we're having, man?
I mean, to be honest, I don't care about this conflict. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
Me
But
neither.
I do find it cringe.
I care about
you know.
that our people care about it. Like, that's what I care about. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. But yeah, I find it corny, man, to come across, you know, so many Somalis that are like so invested in this conflict and they don't even know what's going on in their own backyard, you know. Like I saw a video the other day. I'm sure you guys have seen the video of the Somali girl on TikTok that's crying her eyes out for Palestine.
We were just talking about that, actually. I think it was the Black Swordsman that brought that up.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Embarrassing. You know what I mean? I bet you she's never cried like that for Somalia or, you know,
It's
any
cringeworthy, bro. It's cringeworthy. Like that's what I don't understand. Like, what it is it that inside of you is making you cry so emotionally? And you know what I think? I think it's Hollywood, man. Kind of like Hollywood, right? You know how you cry at movies sometimes, and if there's a sad movie, people cry, right? It's the same thing because it's being trumped up as this thing where I would actually go as far as saying that 75% of these people, of the people doing the protests and things like that, don't know the ins and outs of the conflict. They have already taken a position before they even came to it. You know what I mean? I remember going to these marches, bro, and I didn't know half the shit I know now about the conflict. But all I knew was, oh, some Arabs over there are being oppressed. We can't have that. Oh, but there's Arabs over there oppressing other people. Oh, we don't care about that. You know what I mean? But like, we can't have Arabs being oppressed. You know what I mean? That's basically what it was in my head. So it is corny. It's corny as hell.
Yeah, definitely. And Lucky just said that the girl said that she doesn't care about Somalia. There you go. You know, I'm not even surprised.
It hurts though, man.
You can testify to that. Last night, bro, you were there, bro. We talked about this issue with Fante 3 hours straight. You know, try to convince people. You know, and it's more of, bro. Honestly, this protest. You know, I'm telling you again. I just see it as a mini turn up where people just want to go and fight for some cause. It's Western people that's not going to do nothing about it. You can protest about this issue. You guys have been doing it 70 years. When I was a kid, people were protesting. It's just have to, you know, have to right now. The only issue is social media, and the media has turned. And you're going to be like, yo, how has it turned? People can now literally take a video, post it, go on Twitter, and share the information. The media has changed. That's the only issue. And these the Jews and the West don't know how to counteract this. They just shook because right now the tide has turned to the Palestinians' favor, where they can post videos, they can post information readily and let people see. And there's some emotional manipulating. There's taking turns. And when these people go to the protest, bro, they dress up, they wear their paint, they march,
they wear their paint.
Yeah, they paint their face, the flag, you know, they paint their face, and they're gonna turn up, bro. If you've seen the protest, it's just a turn up. Well, it's just a straight up.
It is a turn up. Yeah, and there's no. I would like to say there's no social distancing at any of these protests, but not that I care. But I'm just joking. But yeah, it is kind of like a Vikings type of, you know, what was that movie with Mel Gibson? Oh, it's an old movie, but you know, Braveheart. It's just some Braveheart type shit where they paint the faces, and now we're going out on the street and we're protesting. The thing is, Al-Aqsa, free Palestine. And the thing is,
so corny, man.
It's very corny. And the thing is, honestly, guys, I don't want to come off as us making fun of the plight of these poor people dying. That's not my issue. My issue is, as Somalis, we got more people dying. We got more shit to take care of. So our allegiance should be in the right places and not looking at this. So I was talking to another Somali Muslim person, but he said, "You don't feel it the same way I do because you're not Muslim, so you don't feel the power of Al-Aqsa the way I do." And I'm like, "Have you ever been to Al-Aqsa?" No. Do you need is Al-Aqsa part of your 5 pillars of faith? No. Is Al-Aqsa anything that? No. Okay, so it's a building. So you're basically fighting for a building. So I mean, I'm like, I think I have more faith in God than you then, because can God defend a little building from Israelis? He needs you. You have bigger problems back in the Horn of Africa. Why can't we not see that? And the thing is, it's like in the realm of political, religious, and it's kind of always always moving the goalposts, whereas people only say, okay, no, we're always going to be with Palestine. And they're very tunnel visionist a little bit. That's how I see it, Anagu.
Yeah, no, definitely no, man. But have you guys noticed how they try and frame Hamas to be some sort of freedom fighting group as well? You notice that when they're just clear terrorists, you know, like these guys, because they always make it seem. Because by the way, I'm not pro-Israel. I'm indifferent to this. Like I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
But the way that they go on as if like Israel is targeting innocent civilian, they're targeting children and whatnot. The thing is, Hamas hide behind innocent civilians. They actually fire rockets in residential areas, you know, because they actually, you know, because these people want to die as martyrs, you know, because this is what they believe in. They believe in martyrdom, you know, they want to die as shaheeds, you know, and you know, so this is the reality, you know. But the mainstream media is just a propaganda machine,
right?
You know?
But they're made to. I think they're made to believe that, so that they can later on be used as pawns for these. Like Lucky was saying, the guy is in Qatar. Like the guy's in Qatar, the guy that's manipulating Hamas and all, is in Qatar, but he's sending these kids to go and die. But these kids were formed at the very young age, and I've seen videos of Palestinian kids, like 5-year-olds, hating Jews with all of their being, right? So this thing has been manufactured that way, so that later on, when they become bigger and bigger, it's easier for them to go and die and be shaheeds, so-called shaheeds,
But you
right?
got to do that, you know. I don't even know that famous quote where they say Mokte, politician Mokte, grown men Mokte, send young 18 years old to fight for their war Mokte. But then at the end of the day, nomad, you gotta be open to it and see some of these kids, you know, they seen their parents die, they seen their people die. They want to fight for that cause, you know, at the end of the day. If you have the same cause and you see your people, your land, you'd be like, hey, as my life might not be nothing, but as long as I make a dent to the situation, you know.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
sad.
no, I definitely get it, but they know what they're doing when they're firing rockets from hospitals and residential areas and schools. They know exactly what they're doing.
It's by design.
It's exactly.
So what do you do with that then? What do you do with that? Like, can the baby be hateful of the enemy, so-called enemy, when their own parents are setting up that enemy to kill the baby? So it's some sort of convoluted type of thing. I see it as that, right? So that's why I'm kind of trying to understand what it is that we really are looking at. Hold on a second, guys. H, is that you, H?
Yeah, it's me.
Hey, how you doing? You good?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, good. So, what are your thoughts? First of all, I wanted to read Jay Lynn's comment here. I don't care about both sides. I have to be honest and say that I think the Palestinians are the real victims, but those are Semitic people problems. Africa needs me more. Well said, and I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. H, what are your thoughts? Please tell us what you think.
I'm Jay Lynn, so that's why.
Well, that was I don't know, man. This crazy internet. Okay, so hi, Jaylen or H. What are your thoughts? So that's a very good point, though. That's a good point. Africa needs me more. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. But do you think, as Somalis, what do you think, Somalis? How should we react to this conflict?
Well, just as a human being, like I have sympathy for the people that like are dying and are suffering, but I feel like the lesson that Somalis should learn from it really is more one of like politics or geopolitics, right? So that's where I stand.
Do you think that we're some of our Somali people are overdoing it a little bit with the?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that video you guys are referencing with the Somali girl in the car, she was just crying her eyes out like someone in her family died. It's over the top. I feel like it's almost
overkill, eh?
Yeah, it is absolutely.
So what do you think her psyche is when she's doing that video? What is she thinking? I know a part of me was saying that there's got to be some sincerity in it since there's tears. But what do you think? How do you think she's thinking?
Well, I think on a human level, there's sincerity. Like she does actually feel sorry for them, but it's just there's this mindset amongst Muslims where it's like Palestinians are the absolute, like you have to agree that, like you have to support them no matter what. and like you have to see it as like it's your own people dying. And
Right.
that's why that video what you posted about, you know, the Arab guy speaking, like I think it's so brilliant. I think so more Somali Muslims should see that, because
Right.
there's being a Muslim and caring for another Muslim, but like look at these Arabs, they don't even care about each other. Like they
Absolutely.
care more about their own people's future, you know?
Yeah, but that makes sense though, right? Like if you have a piece of land on this earth and you want the advancements of that land, like that should be your first priority. Like, you know, when you're in an airplane, it says if shit goes down, make sure you put your mask on first before you help anybody else, right? It's that same type of approach that we have to be exercising. Again, I'm not saying not to feel bad, and you're right, H. At a human level, we should feel bad of any babies dying, obviously, whether they're Israeli or Palestinian. We should feel bad, but it's our over involvement in this thing to the point where I have to deal with it in my own family's WhatsApp groups. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's that deep where it's affecting Somalis at that level, and I just don't get it. I don't get why it's affecting them at that level. And Lucky, you're right. She says, please mention the Muslims saying that Muslims shouldn't even protest, and it is haram because of free mixing. That is a whole other bag of worms, which is true, but that is completely like they do exist. You're right, Lucky. They do. They're out there. That's funny.
You know what's really funny to me?
Yeah.
It's how like you see, you know, there's like Somali Bantus and other Somali groups and even like tribal wars that are going on in Somalia. But you never hear any like these Somali people talking about that. But then, oh, Palestine and Israel are fighting again. And then they're just like going hysterical for it.
That's a tough point, man. That's a tough point. Somali Bantus and the treatments of Somali Bantus vis-a-vis how Palestinians are being treated. Why are we crying for one and not the other? That's a very good point, Black Soldier. That's a very good point. We're not, though. We seem to not care about the Bantus like that.
Even like on social media, anytime I like mention that, Somalis are like attacking me.
Why?
I'm not sure.
What are they saying?
They just, it's like, hold on, let me see. Like on Instagram, you know that big Somali, Somali meme pages.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're like saying Israel's a big dirty toilet, blah 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 blah. Bruh, how does this bother you? Yeah, they're just talking out of their asses, bro.
Bro,
but we got to contend with those. Those are our cousins. Those are our brothers. Go ahead, Thomas. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was gonna say is, bro, you know, these meme pages that report on it, you know, they making their views, and I support my brother if he's making views of these people, you know, anything, if they're making money off it, you know.
Right.
It's just what's in, bro. You got to think about it. What's trending today, or what's everyone has a piece to say. That's the thing, bro, because like people want to feel a sense of, you know, importance. Oh, this is where my view lies. So why put it in social media? You know what I mean? The Somali people just wants to feel in check. I seen Somali, it was the same thing when Somali people were burning the French flag, and they were condemning, you know, the French prime minister, you know, for the ban and stuff like that. But I'm like, yo, it doesn't make logical sense that you are from a third world country, an unstable country that has no law and order, a failed state, and you want to tell a country how to run, bro.
Makes no sense, right?
it's just man, you know, nomad. It's the world we're living, man. Somali people want to be part of everything.
So I don't know. Okay, so let me ask you guys this, because I've seen some exchanges and how things are going, and I see more and more Somali voices that are echoing what we're saying on this panel. Have you noticed that, H? Have you noticed that more and more Somali voices out in the internet world are kind of stepping up a little bit and it's kind of saying, "Hey guys, this is cringy, man. Like, shouldn't we care about us more?"
I think that's interesting. The only reason why I noticed it is because like people in this group have, you know, showed the videos, because my family and the people that I know, they're just, you know, going on the typical line like, oh no, the Palestinians, we need to march for them, blah blah blah. But it's good. It shows that things are changing, hopefully.
That we're actually seeing a broader picture to a certain extent, right? I feel that's what's happening. I see we're seeing it, or at least they're getting more and more courageous in speaking out about it. I think that's what's happening. What do you think, Libah? Do you think that have you seen that happening? Have you seen Somalis more and more stepping up and saying, even though they're Muslim or whatever, they're saying maybe we should care about us more than others? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I have noticed it, to be honest. Yeah, I have, but
Yeah.
I've noticed more Arab booty clapping, to be honest. A lot more.
That's just more prevalent, though. That's just more prevalent. You're right. That's just more prevalent, right? It's like it's
Yeah,
weird
definitely.
though the way. Yeah. Do you
Well,
get? Yeah. Go ahead, Libah.
Go on, Nomad.
Yeah. So Thomas Jefferson, you said that the new generation will make a change, right?
Yeah, man, the new
Really,
generation.
that's good. I need to hear that kind of shit, man. That's good. Are you? How?
We need to Martha implant, one of us, eventually go to Somali, settle, and just like implant, like I think Donald was saying a while back, implant our ideas, implant the way we think, implant about it. Because think about it, bro. If all the people, think the same, Mukta, if we all just go on, we need people like the video, the dude I showed you, he was crying, right? We need people like that. We need people to be different. We need people, Martha, to show them, hey, I don't need to care about Palestine. I don't need to fight for these issues and cry for them like I'm one of them. Bro, these Palestinians are chilling in the West, man. Perfect example. Someone said DJ Khaled. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Oh, he gives two shits. The guy doesn't even know how to pray, man.
But that's the thing. It's not even about his praying. His own personal belief. I'm saying is the own Palestinian, in the West, the ones that own the halal, the ones that own things, bro, these niggas really don't care. They just forgot about it. It's just certain people, they're the ones that, Mafta, that left the country, bro. When I was in college, there were some Palestinians, some of them really don't care. They're just moving on.
Huh?
Some
I personally have Palestinian friends that don't go to the march, but I see Somali friends that are going to the march.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it. I have actual Palestinian friends that just kind of say, forget it, we're just gonna go. We're not gonna go. And then I see Somali friends that are saying, no, they're going and buying their Palestinian flag, and I'm like, I'm trying to reconcile this because we live in the West and we actually see both sides of these things, right? So, Zakaria, if you have this video, he said, I want you all to see this video of a debate between the Syrian ex-Muslim woman and Egyptian Islamist on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, but the link isn't working when I send it in the chat. Well, okay, well, we'll try and find it, man. But I've seen a lot of those debates. I think I've seen a lot of those debates. But Anugu, like I said, I think one of the topics, and I want to ask you guys what you guys think. I want to make one of our topics, how can we get out of the Arab League? What do you think, H? Do you think us being in the Arab League has a way of fucking with our psyche?
I don't. Well, yeah, it does fuck with our psyche because there's too many Somalis that, like Labah said, they booty clap for Arabs, And it doesn't help that we're in the Arab League. But I think going forward, Somalis, like, we shouldn't get rid of our relationship with the Arab states. Like, you just have to play the game. Like, I don't think we should alienate them. So it might be a good thing to stay in, but I don't think the Arab League actually does anything,
As far as I know,
do they even accomplish anything?
As far as I know, I think it was a strategic move from the Arab, the oil-producing countries to kind of get Somalis on board because they know that we have reserves that have not been exploited yet. So yeah, I definitely understand why we were brought in, but it also kills me sometimes when I speak to Arabs that say, "Oh, you're Somali, you're Arab." I'm like, no, I'm not Arab. I swear I've had these conversations. They're like, but you're in the Arab League. And I have nothing, like, what do you say to that?
I don't know, man. I really don't know about that, but I really feel like as long as it serves us, we should stay in.
I don't know. I don't know. Do we get paid to be in Arab League? Maybe we do. Maybe we do get some money. I would have to do a bit of research on it. Libah said maybe we get paid to be in the Arab League. So maybe.
Also, I heard it was a political move from Siad Barre because he wasn't getting any support from the West, and he needed allies from against Ethiopia.
Right. I mean, and that's historical, right? But at the end of the day, we have to kind of look back at these things that flare up once in a while, and the Palestinian-Israeli conflict has been flaring up for the whole 1900s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just up and down, up and down. So I don't know if there's going to be any kind of change, but I wanted to kind of see what, in terms of Somalis and how we kind of react to these things. Are you guys seeing a change happening, or do you guys see that it's gonna have to do with Islam? And do you think that the religion, disconnecting the religion from Somali Nimo, is the key to not being up in arms whenever some Arab somewhere in the Middle East is mistreated? Because nobody is standing up for the Somali women that are being mistreated in Saudi Arabia, or the Somali men that are being traded in Libya as slaves. Nobody is really like, making any kind of marches for that, or at least not to the extent of the Palestinian thing. So why are we so unhelpful towards each other and so eagerly to help others? What do you think? Do you think there's some imbalance in us? What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's a imbalance. It's called Islam.
That's tough. So you saying that the imbalance itself is coming from the religion, eh?
Yeah, because people, when they look at this conflict, they think of it in a ummah sense. They're like, oh, we're all one ummah, and blah, blah, blah. So it's just a load of bullshit, So then they take that and then they believe it's an attack on themselves because it's an attack on Muslims. But at the same time, not every Palestinian is Muslim anyways.
What do you think of this? So like you said, Somalis will booty clap for Palestine more, especially this self-hating Western generation. Do you guys think that the younger generation in the West of Somalis are self-hating?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of them are nationalistic, like some of us, but a lot of them, they just, I don't know, they're just.
Do you think they just don't know what's going on? Maybe.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of English media for Somali like conflicts and Somali news and whatnot. So I don't think a lot of people like myself, like I wish I knew more about like what's going on in Somalia, but there doesn't seem to be any like source of like English media in Somali. And at the same time, none, like we usually don't even learn Somali. So I think there is.
Yeah, that's gonna be a whole show. Like, Somali language needs to be learned by the new generations of Somalis if we have any hope in sustaining our culture. Go ahead, Thomas.
I was gonna say is, I noticed like there's a link, right, between usually the Western educated, like the educated, Somalis, right, are more like nationalistic than the ones that are not. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm not to put it in words, but that's the way I notice it. The ones that usually have higher education. When I was in university, the ones that actually, are like in the STEM fields or trying to get a higher education, usually knew about Somali history. They knew about what happened, and they were so nationalistic. But the ones, that, Ali, Walmart Kashqai and stuff like that, they just did not give two fucks about it. Usually the ones that are usually nationalistics are the ones with the ambition, not to like, toot our homes or anything. But that's what I noticed. These ones are usually on the front lines. Does it make sense? I don't know. That's the way I seen it.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. But it's like you said, the younger Somali Muslim generation are more Salafi and extreme than their parents. They have a different Muslim upbringing. So I think it was someone was saying that Somali parents will share the Arabic nasheeds and all of that, but then when they listen to Somali music, they're not gonna share that with their kids, which is weird. Yeah.
One song, it's mind-boggling. It's called "Ana Somali," like being.
And it's in Arabic. What the? That's a mind twist, man.
Yeah, so it's like something like that, bro. And they're like proud to be Somali,
Right.
And it's in Arabic. And
oh man, that's funny. That's funny shit, man. That's funny shit.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, please do, Thomas Jefferson, please do. But I wanted to basically kind of discuss this issue today because I've seen a lot of those TikTok videos, a lot of those YouTube videos and I'm like, Somali ma ayaw dagaaltamayaan ma Somali ba ma isiloobin ma Arab bay noqdeen. What is this thing that's in our minds that is gonna make us not do anything with our own people, but is going to over a booty clap, like Libya said, for others, right? And honestly, Kushite Prince said, "Can we sue Islam for destroying our Somali identity?" We're laughing, but I swear, man, I swear that's a good point, because it has destroyed our Somali identity to a certain extent. It has, and it has replaced it with it has been replaced by Arabic identity, right? Or at least us fighting for this Arabic identity, right? So I wanted to kind of get your closing remarks on this. It's already at the 3-hour mark. Man, these things go fast. And by the way, Delmer apologizes. He had issues with his computer, so he wasn't able to participate for the latter part. But it's all good. So I want to give all of you guys a chance to kind of say your final thoughts of how Somalis should act whenever, because this is not going to be the last time that Palestine and Israel go to war or whatever, right? It's not. It's just this year. So how should we be looking at that? H, do you have anything you want to contribute as closing thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say to Somalis, like, look at Palestinians as a cautionary tale. Like, what happens when you don't secure power? Like, we should just be focusing on securing more power in, like, our region to protect ourselves.
So the power struggle, the power positioning is what you think we should be focused on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's absolutely true. Thank you so much, H, for coming through today. Libah, kusodo. What are your final thoughts, bro?
I would just say, Palestine, stick to your own homegrown issues. And this whole one Ummah thing is just a fairy tale. It's all mythology. It's never worked. You know, the Ummah has never been a monolith. Okay, the Ummah doesn't care about you. You know, especially as Somalis, and we've seen it time and time again. Okay, so wake up, Somalis, and focus on yourself.
Facts. Thank you so much, Libah. Swordsman, Black Swordsman, what are your thoughts, man? Final thoughts.
I think that as far as Somali should go, they should just condemn Israel. That's the most they should be doing.
Okay.
They should be focusing on themselves, focusing on Somali issues, and trying to better Somalia instead of trying to help some other people. We should let Israel and Palestine to themselves, and just focus on ourselves and try to better Somalia. Yeah, it's like I even seen this comment on Reddit. It said that it's like a drunk, it's like an alcoholic trying to save an abused woman from a relationship.
Okay. All kinds of problems, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming through, Black Swordsman. Thomas Jefferson, closing thoughts, brother?
Bro, Somalia won't be free till Palestine is free, man. they interlinked.
You're a troll, man. You're a troll. Somali territories are not going to be free until Palestine. Okay, go ahead, bro.
Nah, but on a serious note, man, at the end of the day, you know, if Somali, you know, was a stable country, you know, at the end of the day, I would say, yeah, go take in geopolitics, go take in whatever you want, Mukte. But if you are from a third world country, you know, it doesn't make sense. And if you think about it, bro, there's more Arabs than Somalis. You know, if Somalis don't help, you know, Palestine, it's not like they're gonna lose us at the end of this whole. Libah said too, you know, like we can't be a monolith. There's no such thing as one ummah. We're not philanthropists, you know. I'm not a philanthropist, you know. I'm not gonna go save every person in the world, every country that has an issue. You know, I can't go and say, oh, this is happening in this country, that country. Bro, there's genocide going in China, there's genocide going in Ethiopia right now, the two I can think of my head. You know, it's all over the place. So Hatta right now, Somalis, you know, don't be in everyone's problem. Like, even, bro, Somalis, man, not to I'm going on a tangent, but Somalis, man, it's so sad. We will go on any issue. I even saw an Instagram post. We were talking about forced marriage. When they talk about anything, Somalis is there. Somalis are always there, bro. Stay in our lane. Let's fix each other. Somali hanolata, you feel me?
Hanolata, absolutely. I want to basically take a second and say thank you so much for everybody that joined the panel today, and for the conversation. Everybody in the chats as well. Thank you so very much. If you guys want to just hang back right now, I'm just going to end the broadcast, but I wanted to have a little conversation offline with you guys, if you don't mind. So, like we always say, you know what I mean? Somali nimo till we demo, man. And hopefully you guys have learned a little bit, and maybe we're going to have more conversations like these, but I want to thank everybody. So Somali nimo till we demo. Until next time, signing off.